I am
The
good
thing
on
is
this
though,
agent,
FPX
I'll
aren't
take
coming
it.
in with that weaker buy. They still have 3 rifles here, Mitch.
And this is something we've complimented FPX for many times. They really make use of their economy in that early game to give them a little bit of a leg up. Those rifles could deal some damage. In this same old mid-fight, we're going to see this plenty of times coming through. The same knife, presumably. I mean, it caught onto the Viper last time. It's position he's pushed on. And
What?
Zipan wins the duel. Your
ये तो
judge is
split
gone.
map है.
And again, any support
Ah.
towards that A site now
Lol.
under a lot of pressure with Heaven.
Bro, they're so bad at the game.
Control if they destroy that trap.
Yeah, Alpha actually swings, and because of the push that's already there from Angel, they're going to know that this position
Just
is
kidding,
clear.
just kidding.
FPX are in a fantastic spot now, and well, it comes down to this crossfire. Durka going to be pressured early, has to TP out, but do they expect Enzo
Chamber
to be
Khan
here?
watch
A chance for a multi-frag, but nothing really found.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to take that shot right away, but
What the?
you maybe don't need that push out of Sugetsu. That was crazy, but even still, Fnatic 2 rifles in this one. Low HP left on Durka and having to retake onto this side.
They got a save.
They're feeling much better about their chances in the next round. And this mid
Bro,
out of
T4 is
FPX
playing Zero Bill Cash Cup. Bro.
We're just seeing
Serious.
back-to-back rounds, essentially, in the pistol. And this
Come
one
on.
They're
bro.
bad.
Why are they
right at the
saving?
start, Mystic is trying to slow them down on mid with that
If
poison
they
orb, but
lose
he's
these
caught by
guns,
the
they don't have
utilities
anything to buy next
not
round.
being
Ah,
able
he
to
has
keep
zero
that
credit,
control,
both
then
of them.
when they just pace up the push,
Nice,
I
okay.
expect to see
Bro, but we'll get a pistol, no?
I think as well, they're just winning a lot of these early
Then-
battles. That's the
then
thing,
it is like
you've got the
definitely
likes
you're
of
giving
the
away the
swing
round.
coming out of Alpha.
Yeah.
They're
What
kind of
what
desperate,
what would
right?
you
And that was
do,
a swing that I
Sanveer,
don't
with
think
a
had much
pistol and a
behind it. And
scar?
FPX, they were just
Who
waiting
will
for that
win?
sort of move. They also knew
What
that
do you
nobody was
think?
going to be coming from ropes because of Angel's initial
Okay.
positioning. So
Will you kill a guy
FPX
with a
have got off to
pistol
a
or
flying
with a
start,
scar?
reading the game very well. And the weaponry in this round for Fnatic,
Obviously.
it's not going to be pretty. It looks like Mystic might just be playing the judge for the entire game.
Until and unless every shot you hit with your pistol is a headshot.
Bro, this match seems totally one-sided now, bro. They're easily winning. These guys.
Fine, let's see.
Anything can change.
With the pressure
Yeah.
that's being put on Vents,
Even
the knife
like
coming
they,
down
I have
constantly,
seen a comeback
and the
from
fact that he's been
11,
isolated in
12
those
0,
duels.
like,
I kind of do
it can
expect him
happen.
to move
Oh
his
my
way up towards
God.
B heaven. You can see that's where he's
This is a planned this fight,
challenge
no?
for FPX, a little bit of change up.
No.
Oh, Durka, that's a
Right
big
now,
change up.
FPX is
It's gone
attacking.
right up into A. There's 3 players
Fnatic
here
is
ready to get
defending.
aggressive.
Lol, defenders
Angel has to be so
are
careful if he gets a
attacking.
little overeager. It could be dangerous. He's already seen the rifle.
Oh no.
I don't know how he's gotten out of that in such a good spot.
Oh, they walked into the judge though, but
Oh.
again, the trading from
His aim
FPX
is so
just
good, bro.
solid.
That
They're
guy
not
is.
letting anyone on Fnatic get away with these multi-kills. Durka, if he wins this battle, it could be huge though.
Oh my
Turns it
God.
back into a 3v3 scenario, even gets himself the orb as well,
That
one away
bald
from that
guy.
tour de force. And more importantly, you look at the ground that FPX have, well, they don't.
That's exactly it, right? They've given up so much. They've tried to skirmish across the map, and now the recovery
Shoot,
is
shoot.
very difficult. You've just heard that judge on Enzo. He's moving forward and recovering a weapon.
Bro, you can hear footsteps, no, in Valorant.
Okay, he changed the gun.
Main,
New.
the rush
Yes.
is straight through, but
But they're
look
not
at all the
making
noise
any
being
noise.
made. These players are looking down towards main.
Shoot,
Giving up
shoot.
Heaven for a moment, but
He's
Enzo
there.
holds it. He's ready for Zipan.
Come
Nicely
down,
done.
come
This
down.
main push now. And they have so many angles to worry about on the way through, and so much utility up against them.
Yeah, Boast are slightly stuck in the corner, but they're going to need to basically spray him down through the smoke. FPX have gone. They need to try and find a frag here, and it just isn't happening. Last man standing, Saigetsu can only get one.
Oh
And
my
Fnatic,
God.
in a bit of a thrifty round, are onto the
Finally, one.
Yeah, an impressive one. And Boaster even throughout that last smoke, it was the last bit that they had to work with, but it was enough. You know, having to blitz out a B main through a smoke.
This map
never
is
really
so
gonna be
good,
going your
man.
way.
Why did they remove
Fnatic on
it?
the board, but it's not a round that they're going to be able to rely on repeating, right? They still
Bro,
have
after
work to
seeing
do on
this
the defense,
Twitch,
right?
even I want to
Here's
play
what
Valorant.
happened.
Bro.
I like the fact that they pressure Angel's luck, though.
Don't watch
in the
on
last
Twitch.
couple of
Go
rounds,
on
they were
YouTube.
sort of swinging
YouTube and
through
watch
towards
my
that A
stream.
site
I'm at the
because of the positioning that he held. Instead,
Fnatic
Fnatic
and
this time
FPX
read it
more
well,
than Fnatic
pressure him, and
again.
they
Oh,
can
okay,
gamble
okay.
back
You're
inside the
streaming.
camp.
You're
They've spotted
streaming the
Angel,
stream.
and they know that
Okay.
nobody else is
Yeah.
there.
What?
I'm streaming the match.
Again,
Totally.
3 players on
Jeez.
A, the aggression not going to be coming through. The mid hold
Oh,
is
Bala, बंद
practically
कर दे.
non-existent.
नहीं,
This is
नहीं.
a complete
का?
shift.
Right लगता चला.
नहीं नहीं
No, no.
लागत नहीं लागत
No one, no.
Stable
People
buy
will
rounds.
react.
नहीं लगता मैं
No, no.
I have been streaming daily all the matches.
Yeah.
Why would they change?
What's up?
This is the first time though where they don't get
Watching
a
the
kill
Valor stream.
after pressuring this area of the map.
Tourney.
So Maybe they go right back into Durka's waiting arms.
Well, that's the thing. This early fight is going
What
to be
about you?
everything. Patiently waiting. No command
But,
used, but
gold?
he's actually going to try and
Kilo
play
two?
in the poison orb.
She
which
just
is gonna
lost
down
the
from the other side of
Valorant
the map.
match.
It's again an incredible trade out from FPX, just putting them back into a solid position. Rotation through, and Angel's still here, just playing around their own utility, finding Boaster in that corner, and leaving just 2 players standing for Fnatic.
It's
They brought
5v2.
Artis back online as well. FPX have just blitzed into this site,
Okay,
and the one
so
man that
it's like
fell
zero
didn't even end up
100.
going down. Alpha Air and Mystic, I hate to say it, but they're looking at another save. This is a 2v5 retake.
Acha.
It's just not going to happen for you. And they're right out of the site, looking to go to the other side of the map, but FPX read that as well. Look at this net that they're pushing out. They're making sure that there's no angle that Fnatic can extend on past the A site. And with plenty of time left on the clock, I think they're going to try to crunch in and take these weapons out of Fnatic's hands.
Man,
Yeah, of course, the trap no longer online, so it's not really going to hold off this push whatsoever.
PRX
Losing
won
these
against
extra weapons
Topside.
could
Now
leave
this is
Fnatic
the
with very
second
little into the next round. Alpha
elimination
already going to spot them slowly, making their way through. He's trying to delay.
Didn't played
Mystic will
very well
fall.
and
They've done
won.
well to
They
at least
proceeded
reduce the
to the
weaponry a little bit,
finals.
and for the side of
Damn,
FPX,
because
it's
of
not
him?
really that much of an issue. And in
everybody
fact, they get rid of both
on
players.
the PRX.
FPX looking strong in this first half, and
And
Fnatic,
right
well,
now,
they might need to take a moment.
Yeah, that's been a beautiful
like,
punish. And
Fnatic
Fnatic, again,
has
as we
a
said,
good
had
record
shifted up their
against
setup. They've gone
FPX.
light around mid, and
Like, they are
Angel, a
always
player that we've
win the match.
talked about for so long when it came to split. He
But
loved to go
right
into
now
vents.
they're
That
on
was his home
4-1.
ground. Every
Like,
round,
they're
you would see him
behind.
cross in, take that control, and then they'd move
Yeah.
from there. But that building block of the round shifted up this time. You know, he can
They
sense
lost against
that
PRX,
lack of
but
mid presence, that
PRX
change.
you saw that
So he
match,
takes
right?
the risk of lurking in through, and that's something that we've seen now 2 rounds from FPX, where they're able to get a man behind enemy lines and get a little bit of a jump in towards that heaven battle.
Now,
No surprise.
the one saving grace here for Fnatic,
Then get ready
I'm
for
looking at that
Sunday
tour de force.
free.
Like, Boaster is going to invest into a rifle, still have some pieces of utility
Yeah.
to play with. They
They
also
have the
have
final.
the Nightfall available if they decide to use it. But I feel like,
don't
so
know.
far at least, the thing that FPX have done incredibly well is any aggressive plays, excusing the
Yeah.
one round that they lost, they've been able to trade it out 1 for 1. It's just, that's been it. And that's the thing, the setup in the prior round actually wasn't bad, with Durka hiding within that poison orb that was being activated from the other side of the map because they read the ults. But FPX are just so quick to respond that Durka couldn't even TP out of there. Well, obviously he couldn't, he was hit by the null command, but it was a risk, and because of that, FPX, they were able to just trade effectively, keep those fundamentals strong, and that's why they're 4-1 in the lead.
Yeah, how many times do we see teams just not able to close out those duels, those 2v1s? They've been impressive so far. It's hard on the attack, but for FPX, it's looking easy. 4 rounds already built up, the foundation's set. They can feel pretty comfortable coming into the next couple of rounds. They have felt pretty comfortable
Bye.
so far, and again, that knife connects towards the fence. You lose your tour de force, but the attacking side has lost their Viper.
What's so funny?
How? I assume maybe the damage was done
Nothing.
by Boaster initially. The pick outside Getsu, though, so clean with the headshot. And now they even have themselves the ult for the afterblock. Try and get them into that position. It might even just be bait, though. They have pulled Alpha aggressively again. And once more, he's been caught.
Unbelievable. This lockdown coming into play keeps Boaster back, but he's got a firing squad with him. Doesn't need it. 2 quick kills, and the numbers are in the defender's favor. Sugetsu heavily lit up after that earlier fight. He's not even going to go near the site,
3v2.
keeping himself a little further back. At
Yeah,
Cosmic
I
Divide,
think that
get
was
nice and
awkward.
close. But they were ready for the push. They turned just in time, but he still got one. It might be enough for Xiao to pull off this clutch. He's been phenomenal thus far, and he's avoided any reveal. Only 2 players to pick off here.
If anyone was going to do it, it would be him. He's had so many moments throughout this tournament. Sat back in the corner. You can see the utility being thrown out by Fnatic as he waits patiently for the cross. But it's Boaster once again. A 3rd kill for him in this round. A 2nd on the board for Fnatic. And at the moment, it seems the IGL is leading the way.
Yeah, he's been having a great game so far and a fantastic sign. Yeah, I was looking down at the huddles before the game started, and over on the FPX side, they were focused, they were clean. Angel was cracking a couple of jokes as well, you know, same old, same old.
Bro, usually plan the specs, how many
Was there any particular
rounds will
player
it
or
have?
maybe a region of that player that you were staring at?
Well, listen,
Well
Boaster's
down,
pillow
very
was,
hard.
it was drawing eyes.
That's the same here, right?
He's looking damn good in the game on the server, 6-3 right now. But 4 rounds on the board for FPX, 2 for Fnatic. I mean, the reality is this attack side has been great, and I don't think they've really shown us that they've solved it on the Fnatic side just yet. There's a Viper's Pit online though. You can see Mystic holding
And
it,
bro,
ready to put
after
this out on
seeing
middle,
this
and maybe
one,
that's the solution.
Amit bhai,
Maybe
like,
it's
can you
available
link
so
your
long.
YouTube channel?
It's
I
only
can't
going to
find
lock out
it.
one side though. Now this does mean that they can sort of stack up a little bit more control in towards
Hello.
that vent. So you can see the aggressive push coming through. They've also got the trap there ready and waiting. But it makes a high risk to try and make a push in towards that B site now.
You're going to be committing that player on. Oh! A Viper's Pit out of Angel, and he's the only man there, maybe trying to draw the eyes of these defenders while the rest of the team sneaks in through the vents. Alphair seems to be aware of this though, and still with a nade in his back pocket. 50 seconds on the clock. FPX have plenty of time. So interesting pick. Great nade down. It's pushed them back. It's not going to find damage, but it is going to get a response out, and Alphair shut him down. A great kill. Canceling out the Viper's Pit. Enzo goes huge with 3. He just can't be stopped until Xiao steps up, but he's left low. And Fnatic have 3 players left to stop him from planting. 20 seconds on the clock. This is a near impossible.
Bro, you did not mute.
No.
You did not mute Discord.
To at least make things a little bit more costly, but ultimately Enzo had already done more than enough.
You saw that moment of hesitation out of Turkey. He took out the headhunter and thought, I know I hit this shot. But in the back, in the team speak, I imagine everyone's like, just run! There's 9 seconds! Made the right call in the end, and a great shutdown by Alphair. You know, if Zipan manages to get that showstopper fired off, it could have been a disaster. For Enzo behind the wall. There you go, the no time calls. Beautiful, 4-3 FPX with a timeout. Like I said though, the foundation they've built in this half it will stand to them. If for a couple of these shaky rounds, they can make a few mistakes and still bounce right back into it. Problem for them coming into this round is that their economy has been shattered by that round loss. So they're facing an eco, probably an equalization out of Fnatic.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Like, normally when we talk about this map, we really lean into that defensive side half. We say, like, you're getting 4 or 5 rounds, that can sometimes be enough. For FPX, a lot of the time, they really flourish when it comes to their attacker side, and sometimes it's the defense that lets them down. So I don't think they're going to be happy coming out of this half without 6, especially with the way they've kicked things off, especially with some of these rounds being so desperately close and coming down to big plays or timing, and especially with the fact that they started off so strongly as well. So Fnatic are definitely going to have their work cut out here, because I'm sure they want to put up a really heavy defensive half.
I think it was an interesting approach by FPX to still send so many players through the vents as well.
Lol,
Just like in the
Sanveer,
previous
whatever he
round
is
where you
spamming.
have that pit and be heaven, which basically tells you they want you to go vents. They're inviting you in. But they waited so long, you know, and tried to distract
Lol,
the Viper's
one
Pit. It's a
night
very
what?
brave play, and it's one that
I mean,
very few IPLs would be calling that. But Angel
I just told official. I just told you official.
They face off against a full buy with just pistols and a stinger to work with.
Bro, what bot do you have, bro? It's triggered.
It's hard to imagine a lot of success goes their way, but on the attack, if they can
Who the
close
heck
the
are you?
distance, it can certainly swing the fights in their favor.
He is.
My
No
email
surprise there. In fact, Urka looking to actually stick around, but after realizing the economy, probably that was the time to go. They also still have this positioning in towards heaven. It seems like maybe a slight pace change in as Ardis is going to try and break that a little bit closer. And they have got quite a bit of map control here for free. But the swing back in, it's not quite gone right for Mystic. Trade out, and actually Zipan's found another.
Nice grenade.
Turk's not hitting that shot. The nade's going to force him back completely. A plan to come down unless he got
Bro,
some
like, how
god-tier
do
timing.
esports
And at
teams
least
survive?
FPX, with the weaker weapons on
How
the
do
side,
they
able to
earn
hold
money?
their angles, and it's only really Angel that's got any sort of disadvantage here. Out goes the Nightfall, and it's going to catch 2. They know that there's one towards main, but they've still got to deal with him. It's Zipan, rifle in hand. The sound cues for his teammates and the shots landing. It's Zipan falling. Alphair closing in. Good control over B main. They need someone on FPX to step it up here and now.
They have!
And they get both.
Oh.
Unbelievable! He just answered back. It looked like everything was falling apart.
That was such a strong hold from them, especially after you lose that initial player. It's that re-aggression coming in with the pistol. Saigetsu has been having a game and a half so far, and Fnatic, there's just been, I want to call blips, but a lot of these sort of aggressive pushes where the pace is picked up, they just get caught out. Boaster stuck on a nade as well. Zipan with that double entry. He's someone we've highlighted in the majority of games that I don't think we've seen even close to his peak. If he can come online alongside the likes of Saigetsu, who's absolutely killing it, FPX might finally be able to break that curse.
You almost get a glimpse of what we were expecting to see from Durka last event if he actually got to play. Saigetsu on the sidelines was hungry, and now he's back on that roster ready to play. And well, he has just looked phenomenal in practically every map that he stepped onto. 5 to 8 FPX on their attack, and we've already had that little bit of tussle in towards B main. But they're trying to bait out some aggression on the other side of the map or down through mid. Right now, Fnatic don't seem to be budging, though.
No, they aggressed initially. And you can see them now starting to take that A control. The fact is, though, Angel's happy to almost just sit back and make sure they can't start pushing on that flank. Of course, not having a chamber, and actually Durka's just going to swing. He has not been winning a lot of these early battles, and Saigetsu has shut him down once more. The aggression of Fnatic is failing. Well, another man advantage sits with the hands of FPX.
This is going to cause a bit of a problem. Boaster on the site, plenty of utility around him. It looks like they're going to try and grab well him, and that they will.
Oh no.
How's he getting out of this one? 2 seconds, and they're on top of him, just completely overwhelmed by the execute out of FPX. Into the smoke. That was a brave play from Saigetsu, and he's paid the price. Still, the numbers aren't even, and FPX can get this plant down.
Not that lucky as well. I think the gun actually lands just outside. So actually retrieving it is going to be difficult. They need someone to pop off. Alfia up in heaven might be the man to make the move. They've got the flank covered as well on FPX. They have some solid crossfires ready and waiting for Fnatic to try and make a push here. And the fact is, Xiao's almost baiting them in a little bit, trying to get them to look at him while Angel starts to make that flank in from behind. Slowly you can see the Fnatic side being locked in, but they haven't managed to take any space whatsoever. So much so that Angel might actually look to lock them out instead.
Oh, he's making it most of the way for now. It's whether that pace continues, and actually as they're saving in the spawn, I don't think he's going to get there in time. A valiant attempt still. 6 rounds for FPX, building them up one after another. And like you said, Tom, this is always going to be a strong side for them on any map, essentially. The way things are going, I need to see Fnatic step it up the next couple of rounds. The pressure is certainly on.
One of the things I think we noted early in the tournament is that FPX were having like little mistakes, like little angles not checked, pieces of utility not being put into play. Take that B execution and you can't find a single problem with it. The gravity well, the nade, forcing Boaster out, the swing from Saigetsu to make sure there is literally nowhere left for him to go. They couldn't have played that better. The issue I have is that right now Fnatic are losing a lot of those early duels. They are trying to face, they are trying to use those aggressive agents, and thus far they have achieved very, very little.
Great early tag. This pretty much tells them about that aggression Fnatic were attempting in towards B main. Try and grab this orb. There's a blind and a peek out of Durka. Great attempt, but no connection.
He also got the orb.
Yeah, they've scooted out of there with the orb, so massive early fight.
And they've been more than happy to almost execute straight off the back of that null command. Like basically just utilize it to remove any of the utility that Durka can have. This aggressive position from Mystic, though. As said, they've been so incredibly careful thus far, but the Boombot is not going to clear him. He's in fact going to aggress, take that fight. Mystic only gets one, though, but he may have bought them that little bit of extra time, as they now have to rotate back away from mid.
Yeah, the thing is, with him going down, Fnatic also have to look at mid. They've got that trap up in heaven, sure, but well, heaven itself, which has been such a massive problem on B heaven, that's where they're going to have to commit. Boaster's up there. He's watching that, leaving Durka alone. Already found the one, but he's just outnumbered. And the smokes locked them out, so another plant seeming likely for FPX.
There is still a nade. Alfia going to try and put that into position. I don't think it's quite going to reach, although so close. And he actually lands the headshot onto Angel instead. Some of that extra utility gone, and they should have a pretty decent idea. Xiao just hiding on the edge of this smoke, though. He's going to swing straight out, and Boaster is gone again. They know Zipan's here, but it's whether they can clear him. It's whether they can deal with him, and this time they can. Fnatic will pull off the retake and finally get themselves another round on that board.
I didn't need to use anything too much there. You showstopper for next round coming out of that one. And 6-4, the scoreline's still close. It can go either way. This is a tough one for Fnatic, certainly in the last couple of rounds. That retake will reignite the fire under them. I want to look, though, at FPX. It's the fact that they're coming in with the showstopper in their own. Artis back on a null command, and it's been so impactful in some of these previous rounds.
But that's the thing. You can see Fnatic now taking themselves to tactical. This is the moment where you want them to almost come out with something a little bit gimmicky, something a little bit different, even just calm themselves down from what have been some of these more aggressive plays, because they need this round. They can do a lot of damage to the economy, but also they can edge themselves ever closer to that 6-6. And honestly, from that point, it's anyone's game. If this goes in at an 8-4, I think we start looking at map 2, because FPX look really solid right now.
Yeah, and one of the things, when I mentioned those ultimates that are online, FPX's executes have been so solid so far. They've gotten a massive amount of value out of pretty much anything they invest into the rounds here on the attack. So this timeout from Fnatic could also be to sit back and look at where their gaps have been so far, the problems that they've been having around mid and in those duels. I think the best they've gotten out of is like a 1-to-1 trade around those mid fights, and it's just not good enough. These last 2 rounds, they'll look to remedy and then make sure that whatever weakness FPX might have spotted, they don't get to abuse it here.
I am curious if we're going to see something aggressive.
Dude,
Alpha.
he's a
So
left-hander.
far, he's been making moves across the map in pretty much every single round. He's got a showstopper. They know that Angel's been playing deep into
How are you
towards that
going to
A side.
click so
If they
many
can clear him,
buttons
the round
with the
becomes a
right
lot easier. You don't have to worry about
keyboard?
those lurks so much. Also, just in terms of map control, you can take a lot more. For FPX, though, back to mid.
Why not? You know, this success has been there, like we said, almost every single time. So we're going to see it attempted again. You got to be conscious of B main with how aggressive Dirk has been at times, and the turret destroyed. Certainly going to keep Sagetsu's focus with the rest of the team. Same old take, the boom bot. Last pack through from Zipan. They've smoked off B Heaven, so they've got this control. And you know, this is a real FPX round, the way we used to see it back in the good old days again and again. But they have put down the Viper wall already towards the A side. I mean, obviously the benefit of having that secondary controller, you can do this. You can use your wall as a fake or to try and initiate some individual plays. And right now it is keeping 3 players on that side of the map.
Thus far, they've been able to pressure Durka. Bear in mind, he now can't escape from this. He's stuck in the corner in the previous round. This completely went wrong from him being in this position. They're almost trying to bait him through. He lands the first. This time, though, there's a second in. The swing not going to be able to do much more, and they might actually be able to bring back Artis. So still looking likely that this will be a 4v4 scenario, but it's probably one of the better scenarios Fnatic have actually had.
Well, I mean, every null command they use gets Durka down and Artis right back up, so it's just been fantastic to avoid that massive damage in some of these early B-takes. Showstopper early, and Boaster wasn't ready. FPX leading into a man advantage now as Fnatic want to come water falling out of heaven. They're going to be in trouble, though, because there's players absolutely everywhere. They've thrown down a snake bite on B main, but it's fading. And now that means Artis is coming back, ready to fight. Flash popping out. And Fnatic haven't gotten out of heaven. They're still up here. Eventually, Showstopper used, and the nade got one! This could be it. Mystic has a chance! A headshot connected, but the trades so consistent from FPX. They will not let this one go.
No, they have been superb. Every single time, it looks like it's sort of an even scenario. FPX have come out on top. They've been able to basically just put down any of these aggressive plays that Fnatic have been attempting. And while I spoke about the economy being vulnerable of the side of FPX if they lost this round, the same stood for Fnatic. They're going to have to come in with, okay, the tour de force, which I'll be honest, thus far we haven't seen the plays from Durka we wanted to. That's what you need to be doing on the chamber. Taking space, causing problems. He hasn't caused that many for FPX in all honesty.
Viper's Pit B main immediately. We're hearing a tour de force used up. That's Durka. Remember the classic in hand. Straight down through middle here. Boaster's playing extremely aggressive. Got a lot of players backing him up. Alpha there as well. I mean, this is obviously Fnatic's response to FPX's mid control. But FPX aren't going for the mid control this time. At least they're doing it on a bit of a delay if they are.
Well, that's the thing. The Fnatic expected someone to meet them here. Because they've lost this control every single round, but instead there's an adaptation from FPX. They're patient once the utility is put down. And then they fall back into this same mid-take again. You can even see the wrap back around coming from Angel. They want to try and take this as a squad, but 3 players still remain here from Fnatic, waiting to battle them.
The last round of the half, and such a miserable buy for Fnatic. They're immediately pressured out of any sort of Vents control. And maybe FPX have the idea to split through B in heaven if they find one of those picks, maybe, but there's 2 players looking to fight it. Alpha has an angle on the side, and he's expected. Apparently, Angel wins that duel. A frenzy in the hands of Boaster, a perfect flash, and the follow-up. Now, they're spamming Mystic, and he's 40 HP. I mean, with a judge as well, there's no way he's getting back out onto the site, but he needs to. There's barely anyone left on his team.
Oh, I don't know what he even does here. There's a lockdown in play. I think he's just going to get stuck in the mud, but eventually Zipan is going to put him out. It's left all onto Durka. A first kill and 5 more needed. An extra bullet even used on what was just a turret. Needed to try and get rid of it, but ultimately just taking damage through the smoke, 70 HP, and just waiting to not be suppressed anymore, not quick enough on that flick, and an 8th round is looking inevitable. A superb attacker half coming out of FPX, and while Fnatic are going to have to pull off the same in the next.
Yeah, that's certainly not the easiest of first halves to go in. They don't get the pistol, so no injection of rounds, but 4 at the half will make this incredibly tough going onto the attack. Let's see what our analyst desk thinks about their chances.
Thank you very much there, Mitch and Tom. We were wondering what Sugetsu was going to play, and they did make a change. The Killjoy, and my god, Jesse looks great today.
It's like he knows how to play I mean, not like, we all know that Sugetsu knows how to play all of the Sentinel agents, that's fine. But it's like that no matter what he takes, especially on Split, he knows how to harness it to its full effectiveness, and the return on investment he's getting with his weapons, with his utility, with his trading skill, with his positioning, I think when the caster said flawless, it's superb. I kind of think I would agree with that. That's probably the first time I've said it about a player individually in a long time of that level.
Yeah, I mean, I think this guy has just been always in the right place at the right time. The trades have been impeccable. I mean, Jess, this is one round as well where you really started to see Sugetsu shine over and over again with the disrespect in B main control, taking the space, but he's always here. Look, he's always ready.
This isn't even one of the trade moments either. It's just him having a very keen understanding that he can play with his turret, almost like his little buddy there that he can use to be able to commit to that play, and he knows that he has power position over that B area.
And this is where really I think FPX was shining on this map on their attack side. Over and over again, you heard Tom and Mitch talking about it as well. The control that FPX had over mid was always just a fight over it. Mystic being the first death, taking control, not even of just mid as well. The extremities, B main was being fought over all the goddamn time, and there wasn't really an answer for Fnatic. Their game plan was to play retake in a lot of these situations, and it just wasn't good enough for them. They were often playing them at like that 4v5, 3v5 scenario because they just couldn't quite trade it out effectively or survive long enough to play that full retake like they wanted.
And it's funny because the extremities weren't being controlled by Fnatic because, for example, maybe you had Sugetsu over in B, but you also had Angel over towards A, poking and prodding and very aware of when that defensive aggression would hit. He controlled it perfectly. There are players on the FPX roster that aren't just monsters when it comes to their mechanical skill, but their smarts are just unbelievable. I think they're a very smart team, deserves way more praise than we've given them.
Yeah, also Durka and Alpha, yeah, they need to step up on this second half. They're getting a little bit diffed as we head into... I mean, I'm going to have to say how it is. We're going to throw this back to Tom and Mitch and see how Split is going to play out.
Well, Tom, they're kicking things back off, 20 seconds on the clock, and Fnatic about to mount a pretty difficult attack. 4 rounds to start with it's certainly suboptimal. We'd like to see them walk out with the pistol here.
Yeah, no, they really need it. And I think FPX have done a fantastic job so far of just shutting down any of the plays they wanted to make. Now they go onto their defensive side where they definitely have more utility in terms of being able to hold back the plays that Fnatic want to make. It's just whether or not that firepower, that alpha duo with Durka can finally step up into this match and maybe grant them that pistol which gives them that lifeline.
We've seen the first half play out. Certainly not too much to write home about on the side of Fnatic. This is where they make a difference, make a change. The A site seems to be the battleground as they shift their way towards that site. And looking at the setup from Sugetsu, he has a ton of utility in this choke point.
In fact, there's so much available to them that it almost needs to be avoided by Fnatic. They're going to go walking in towards heaven. Now, there's currently 2 players sat ready and waiting, but they almost fade away at the perfect moment. This is going to give a lot of space, and in fact, the knowledge of anybody there isn't going to be realized. It's a trade initially. Mystic down, that's a lot of utility lost for the side of Fnatic. Boombot is even going to section things off, but they need to clear this man out of the backlines before they can get anywhere near a plant.
Sugetsu has some supportive utility still, but Durka's managed to slip right past it. He's coming around the edge and will take the kill. Plant for Fnatic should be now secured, and Artis is heard running it down this ramp, trying to land the shots, but they won't connect. Although Enzo goes down, Boaster's able to trade it, and well, FPX now have a 2v3 to work with. Getting back in, and with Smoke still online, Zipan's gonna have to go right through that good pre-fire, but Boaster's a little better.
And now it's left to Xiao once more. Clutch situation and already tagged desperately low. In fact, 1 HP clutch needed. Again, it's Boaster with a triple kill to grant a 5th. Fnatic get that lifeline, they get that start they needed when it comes to the attacker side.
Well, that's it. This pistol right here, what a moment for Boaster to bring up another big round, because he had a couple last half and then certainly quieted down, but I mean, you can say that across the board. This attack pistol under their belt, it seems like we're getting a normal second.
He's had at least 2 3Ks. He may have even have 3. And that would just be all of his kills.
Yeah,
so
right.
just impact rounds out from Boaster, but in all honesty, I don't think he's the man we're really looking at here. There are other members of this squad that I think have a lot more to show. That's going to be a fair amount of information early already for Ardis. Now, it's not a massive investment here in Alpha. It's just going to go straight above. An easy kill to start. In fact, he's getting closer and closer to that showstopper. An easy take for Fnatic in this round, and well for FPX. What can you do?
Spike goes to Alpha.
मूर्ख प्लान का देना.
Orbs on top of the showstopper. Immediate TP out from Durka, extra angle to play with. You don't need to play too aggressive on this, obviously up against the pistols, and hearing a shorty would probably deter any push. And again, we come back to pretty much what we saw in the last iteration of this in the previous half. These guys are just sitting back, playing for exits, looking to make this as costly as they can for Fnatic. So far, there's been nothing lost on that side, bar a few shields here or there, and it doesn't look like much else is changing. Great damage, but still no frag, and it's going to be flawless.
A great way to get back into this. Prime Gaming flawless coming out of Fnatic to give them another round onto the board, but this is where things actually get interesting. Now, unfortunately for them, their orbs have almost been spread evenly across the majority of players, so it's not like they're coming into this with that showstopper. They don't have a tour de force. They don't really have anything to bridge the gap. So again, I feel like it needs to be something a little bit more aggressive. And with the entirety of the team currently setting up outside that A site, I think they're about to try and blitz their way through.
It certainly looks like it. The wall has just gone down and no response out of FPX. Looks like any old day. Paranoia could change things. I'm not sure if that caught Alpha, or not Alpha, excuse me, Zipan, or if he was wide enough around it. Either way, he has held his ground. Only good for the 1 kill, and now this split as Boaster and Shrouded stepped up above into the Viper Orb. They've caught a free kill in heaven. That blitz play, certainly not the normal running through a choke point, but it has worked out for massive value.
That's the thing, Saigetsu's still here. He's been every round. He's just running and spraying. He didn't take a single point of damage while completely blinded, but Durka had his back anyway. Saigetsu, he's still on the site. He's still just sat here. Like, why have they not taken this control? Why am I still here on my own? And he's actually managed to hit a tag, but again, he's completely surrounded. This bonus round is going fantastically for Fnatic, and only one man stands in the way. We need a little bit of the Xiao show.
I mean, that round's going to live down in a telestrator after this, I'll tell you that. Absolutely beautiful. The poison orb up top, Boaster coming out. You know, you said they're going to blitz the A site. Nobody went onto the site. They went up above.
Heaven.
They got into heaven, through ramp, through the window itself. They had their utility set up to allow them to do that. It was very well planned out.
You know when you get like the thought bubbles of like a player? I would love to know what Saigetsu was thinking there, because it's like, well, they have heaven. They're in A main. They're behind me, and I'm still alive, and no one has taken the site. You even see him. He's like checking every single angle, trying to get aggressive at the same time, because he should have been pressured earlier on. I don't know if that's a plan from Fnatic of almost like, okay, Saigetsu's in God mode. Let's deal with everyone else, and then deal with him at the end.
It was the right play this time around, Tom. I'll tell you that. Fnatic just one away from their opposition. We said they needed the pistol. You kind of see why. A huge injection of rounds, giving life to this roster in the second half. And, well, they have earned themselves, presumably, an equalizer. FPX running out of credits.
Can we please get like a split screen of Boaster and Angel in that moment of just Angel like death staring him from across the room?
Yeah, Angel when he wins a clutch, just staring. Yeah, nice job.
To be fair, if he stood up and twerked, I think the world would implode.
Yeah, I would lose my mind. I'll be honest. It's an impossible if that ever does happen. FPX, look like they want to fight for mid. Now we saw them take this quite a bit on the attacking side, this time with pistols. You can take the risk and try to blitz out. 4 players ready to crunch in on these angles. But Fnatic not going to be taking that risk. They're moving back and moving together.
When a round like this, I don't mind the sort of group up, mainly because first you don't have much to play with, but also it means that Xiao's gun can go into someone else's hands. The thing is though, for the 3rd round in a row, we're going to see this pressure in towards the A side. Just comfortable stuff from Durka. An easy double kill, going for more, and it's great trading out of Alpha here. Saigetsu though got 2 with the pistol. Makes it a little bit more expensive than they would have liked, but scoreline now equalized from quite a deficit. And while FPX, this has to be the response, otherwise this could get out of control.
Yeah, at this point, 4 in a row, especially considering the pistol, early rounds and all that sort of stuff, it's not the end of the world, but Fnatic have got that confidence rolling for them right now, and you don't want them to get back in control of this game. Equalized up as we are. And now we're going to see Saigetsu with a rifle in his hand. The whole FPX roster bringing everything they've got, and a lot of players very close to getting their ultimates online on that defensive side.
Yeah, also all the other... I think that's the most damage I've ever seen anyone take from a snake bite. Just basically trying to bunny hop around it.
He
I think that must...
because of the wall.
I think there... Oh yeah, that was a wall. I was wondering if there was some other utility holding him there, like a grav well or something, but
no.
I'm not necessarily sure there was. I think it was just completely caught out early. Now again, you're seeing both teams definitely battle for early mid control, but with no pressure really coming through, it's just going to be Angel in this position. He is someone who gets caught out a lot when it comes to opening duels. Just bear that in mind.
Oh, great damage, another connection. So Enzo and Alpha both incredibly low as they go and set up for this push towards the A side. An adjustment from FPX. This time Saigetsu's not on the A side after seeing that Fnatic are content to just ignore it. He's going to be supporting up in heaven. The paranoia goes through. It only finds one though. Saigetsu can still see plain as day. He'll grab a double, follow up with more. A phenomenal hold coming out of Saigetsu, and he's not done yet. Support from Artis. And that should be the round closed. There you go. FPX answering back. Pretty resounding result.
Yeah, I'd say a Prime Gaming Flawless is about as clean as it can get from them. And I think just the paranoia didn't quite go as far as Boaster wanted it to. Tries to throw that through. It doesn't catch off Saigetsu. Either that or he was just stood in a place to adapt from it. But it's not quite there. And while then you're just looking at Durka trying to basically take a huge risk going through. Re-aggression from Artis. But that's the exact sort of round they need. Now, on the other side of things, it's not too much of a detriment just yet. Fnatic kept things relatively clean. They're still going to have some weaponry going into this one, and there are some high-impact ults, either close or already online on either side.
Yeah, this round could definitely get dangerous. Fnatic are going to start this slowly, as per usual. Split can always run down that clock, but FPX contest a little bit on mid, pop down their util, find nothing. Adjustment seems to be to move to A, and it should be, because look at Boaster! He's fully completed the TP! They've conditioned them to play in heaven, and now he's gone onto the site and said, okay, yeah, you guys can have heaven. Yeah, we'll take the site this time around. Great lockdown, grabbing them a bit of control. Boaster.
Oh, it's so risky.
They have an aid for it.
He's going to be able to keep that position at least, but the rest of the team have had to completely leave this spot altogether. Already using that paranoia, and it seems like they're still pushing with him, trying to fight back. A good trade out from Durka, but the sprint across give Angel a couple of kills, and the remaining 2 were still just completely outside of this one. The question is, do they want to start trying to wrap back around? There's still time, but for now at least, FPX have them locked in. You can see Xiao all the way down the bottom of mid, just watching in case they try and move back.
But the Artis still just tucked in that corner. The great crossfire he has with Zipan, the heaven control on Angel, like you said. There's so little for Fnatic to exploit.
One enemy remaining.
And well,
he's been seen.
He has been spotted and taken down. A 3K from Angel. His orb completely stalling the A push. It's a textbook round from the IGL, and double digits for FPX because of it.
I think the other thing as well for FPX in that round is just, again, they were so ready for everything. They have that lockdown put into play. They then have the nade for basically the only safe spot. And then everybody else is just stuck outside. And again, Saigetsu takes the contact, and it's just trading across the board. FPX now hit themselves on 10. Now, these series are always close, Mitch. Do Fnatic have more in the tank? I'm looking at that tour de force. Durka now sat at the top of the board, at least for his team. Can he get them another one?
He's certainly looking to play with that tour de force moving around, and that's a problem. He's gonna to wait a couple of seconds for it to come back up and online. More conventional Viper ult coming through this time. It's around mid, and we've seen this many, many times from many different players. The control that you get is just fantastic. You get yourself... Oh my! 20 HP. Well, never mind the control. It's time to back out of there. They're going to give that one up. He can't stay aggressive anymore.
Oh, and Xiao's actually got an operator in this round, holding ready for Durka to make the move. You can see Enzo tempted. Of course, no weaponry really to be found in this position. Now, he does still have a full belt of utility, but it's whether he wants to use much of it or save it for some of the late round plays they're going to be attempting to make. The fact is, though, bypassing this with what they currently have in the round is going to be incredibly difficult.
If they can get the heaven control here from Fnatic, get the timing right. They've been detected as well.
So much info.
Fantastic out of Artis. The timing just couldn't have been better. Just as they started to move to the top of ramp, that's going to keep Zipan in position. He's down below, waiting for them to make a move, hearing the steps now. Do they clear it? No. They're too focused on getting to the site. 14 seconds left, and now they're dropping on him! Somehow they win it! Enzo coming out on top, they've got to get on site. 8 seconds left, the plant needing to come through. Mystics just about made it. He's planting as we speak. They need to deny it, and they will! The snake bite lands in time, and the round will be won by FPX. 11 on the board. It came close. But ultimately, that clock just put way too much pressure on Fnatic.
Also, their positioning was just sublime. Again, they basically had them locked into just a place they wanted them to go. Like, this kill at least made it a little bit more interesting, but you just see the spots of where Angel is currently sitting, the player still within the site in the form of Artis. Like, they almost herded them into that position. And well, like lambs to the slaughter, Fnatic fell once again. A last-ditch effort now. This could be the final buy we see from them in this map if Fnatic don't manage to make it work. And well, Boaster's operator, we saw it in the previous series. This time it gets nothing.
Now we got to look elsewhere. Around middle, Fnatic are going to try to retake this control, but Zipan, he's not giving up an inch. Showstopper, it finds Angel. It's something, but I'm not sure if it's enough. They need to get to a site, a Viper's pit online. Enzo still with a Nightfall. Whether they even get to use it, though, is up for question, because Zipan's got himself a rocket, but he won't find a connection. Does land on a Mystic. Lands, no, not onto Alpha here. I don't know how that shot managed to be returned, but we've ended up in not the worst position for Fnatic if they can get past Xiao, but his shots have been on point.
Yeah, how do you even bypass this man? Well, okay. Finally seen a miss out of him, looking to put the pressure on the reposition. A second shot is gone. In fact, he's going to go back to the classic, being wrapped around on, trying to find the shots here, and they've managed to isolate, at least giving them a plant, if they so desire it. But the utility's good from FPX, forcing them back at least for the moment. Enzo holding onto that operator, trying to stop them as they come through heaven.
30 seconds left.
Use the flash to post up on the angle and hope he re-aggresses. Time is of the essence here. The stepper to the right. Great shot from Enzo, and Alpha follows up. The dynamic duo taking a 9th, just 2 away from FPX. It's not lost yet.
These rounds, they've got to make you sweat if you're a Fnatic fan. Always coming so close every single time. And in fact, actually, FPX are going to be the ones to take a pause. You have to almost look at the ult that comes out here on the side of Zipan. He could have basically wiped out the entirety of the team. I think it was actually Mystic running away that almost sacrificed himself for the other players, because if he's not seen running away, that shot into the corner, the whole team is dead.
Absolutely. And these sort of baits, it's something that we expect to see out of teams like this. A timeout called for FPX. They might still be in the lead, but the pressure's certainly being felt at this point. I'm taking a look at their economy though, Tom. Even after they've bought, most of these players are sitting like 2K to 4K. Pretty comfortable in terms of credits.
With it, the thing you have to note as well within this series, the next map is Bind. Now, in every other series that has been played, FPX has been banning that versus Fnatic. They have not wanted to go anywhere near that map. The only reason they banned it is because they cannot beat Fnatic on Icebox. It just doesn't happen. They failed time and time again within the last, 4 or 5 series. So they've decided to switch it up. That does, however, mean that Split is almost a necessity. They've probably made adaptations. They've tried to change things up to counter Fnatic, but whether they've been able to do that, I doubt. So currently 11-9 in the lead. They are taking things very, very seriously, because the last time they played this, they lost it in OT 15-13.
There's certainly no stranger to Fnatic creeping back up on them in a series or a map. 2 behind as Fnatic mount this attack, and FPX will look to stand strong this time. Same snake bite.
I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to stand there at the beginning of the round.
Yeah, that's certainly saving him a little bit of hassle. They'll go out to fight for the control afterwards. Reveal coming up towards Vents. Boombot to clear close, and Angel's already given away his position, but they're more than aware that there can be someone around here playing through the smokes with the Phantom. Sorry, he's pushed back eventually. It's okay, control early, but you can tell that this is something Fnatic, or FPX, excuse me, are very happy to give up. They still have this protocol with Sagetsu having a turret and himself watching up top. So they're not under too much pressure just yet.
Ardis and his knives have just been absolutely ridiculous. I felt like he's catching players almost every single time and just getting them those little extra bits of information that they need to start stacking up into this site. You can even see the counter is perfect. They've just thrown in the Nightfall, and he's thrown in extra utility to make sure they can't get that little bit further. A grab well as well. That ultimate basically became useless, but the entries still go their way. Once more though, Saigetsu looks to swing it back. Sat in this corner, they know he's there. Another missed shot, and somehow he's come out with 4! The turret even finishes it from the ace. A truly ridiculous round from Saigetsu.
There's a reason that we said we wanted to see FPX at full force when we last saw them against Fnatic. No shame to the substitute, but it really just, you cannot replicate the impact that Sagetsu brings to a server. But this moment, an ace, the turret getting involved in everything. This is just ridiculous.
He's literally on 1 HP.
Spray control बघितला Vandalचा.
Finish off the round, but that is unbelievable. Put any
Yeah,
other player in that
control
scenario,
कसला
they
त्याचा.
knock him out with even 2 kills.
Yeah, one and done. And you wouldn't have any shame about it either. But one and done would have been probably what you expected, but Sagetsu's just on fire. Giving a 12 to FPX. Boombot landing some info here for Zipan. Nade through. That's some pressure for Durka. He's going to be taking a bit of damage. Luckily, TP's out. But that control then, because of that, denied completely. Fnatic give up their top ramp control. And by the looks of it, FPX might even try to retake it. They're walking out here with 2.
They almost want to deny that. He won that with a Spectre.
He did.
How is he winning that with a Spectre? Angel peaks, does 0 damage, and goes down to the Spectre of Durka. They needed something like that in this round. Their buy stinks. The main goal they have is to try and get into an afterplant, and that's why you're seeing FPX try and take map control. They don't want to allow that Viper's Pit to go down, but unfortunately, they've lost Angel in the process.
After picking that opening kill on A reset from Fnatic, they're going to look to do a very similar execute to what we saw from FPX. You've got your Boombot into vent, and then the push for mid. They can make use of some of their weaker weapons. Boaster's selling that fake, or at least trying to by going down below, but they've had a lockdown used. 8 seconds left on it. Nade, close, but it's not going to destroy it, so that time is completely subtracted from the clock, and Sagetsu goes out right down below Heaven, but he's being caught by the paranoia. Goes forward, but Mystic catches him.
14, 13, 12.
With that, they should have a plan.
10.
Yeah, they're not messing around though. They're going to throw out that Viper's Pit basically to just make sure that there is no real chance for FPX to come back into this one.
One more round.
Especially with the spot they were already in, it seems like maybe a little bit of a waste, but they can't afford to have any slip-ups, any mistakes versus this squad at the moment. And well, I think we're almost witnessing a game of if we kill Saigetsu, we win. Which is, I don't think we've ever seen anybody have this level of performance at this stage of a tournament. Like, you're talking about the likes of a Yay, maybe a Chronicle, a Nat, someone like that who can actually pull you through rounds. I think he's like, I think he might be something along the lines of either 9 or 10 kills above everyone else.
Yeah, the stats line certainly is ridiculous. And for such a close game as well, having a player pop off like that, it is invaluable. It's keeping them alive. That round window, well, it keeps Fnatic in it. Double digits, 2 behind as the lead closes in, but FPX have that, well, wealth of credits.
Imagine this going into
coming back through, as we saw in the previous
timeout.
26 and 14.
Zaler.
And that is just ridiculous out of Sagetsu. This man wants to win. He's here for the victory. 2 chances to close it out and take map 1.
Loving the bias.
Yeah, rooting for FPX, I think, are they?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Is that FPX? Is that what everybody's
Oh, yeah.
going for?
100%.
12 to 10.
Hit the poll earlier. Was it 4%
I
in
think
favor
it
of
was- I think it
FPX
was
winning?
less, but let's not talk about that. It doesn't matter about the polls, it matters about the players within the server. And right now, FPX still sit with the lead. Zipan actually going walkabouts. He's got his teammate alongside him, Boaster. Smoke in hand. I don't know if he'd expect them to push this far, and Zipan is going to win that opening shot. Althea is caught throwing a blast pack. It's a mistake. Maybe not expecting that retake or repeat to come through even. And they might be able to isolate one. Elisa Durka comes up with two back. A quick swing to give an opportunity. But there's still a man on the side that they have to deal with. And in fact, you might even want to go back.
Oh!
Leg on.
He has no notion of respecting Sugetsu in this one. The challenge taken. With that, the advantage. FPX having to retake with an operator as well. But, well, okay, I was going to say Shao might kind of catch him by surprise, you know, maybe gets a free angle, but they've heard it.
Oh, never mind. It seems like Fnatic are winning every single duel. They shouldn't. A swing after a nade comes through. Shao, he's ready though. Already Durka down. Now they don't need to peek this. They don't need to face versus him. He's even going to be caught out. Not able to move. Horn coming through. Rifle retrieve. Time is ticking. And now his position is given away. He needs to do this in a split second and he's not going to be able to. Fnatic, 5 versus 3 they were. And they bring it back into that scenario.
I was worried after the first half, Tom. I was worried if we didn't see Fnatic take that pistol, maybe this ends already. And then after these first couple of kills, it felt like they were stumbling at just the last hurdle.
Yeah, you know, you're...
Oh!
What?
Sorry, can I see that 7 more times? What?
Even though you paused it, I still want it slow.
I still didn't see the frame where he shot. That is unbelievable. What a valuable kill it was as well. Sugetsu 26 and 15. He needs one more big round to close this out, but it has to be this one. FPX facing down the barrel of an overtime. This defensive side has not been kind to them. You said it in the first half, Tom. They're known for their attacks. It's where they build up the rounds. I don't think they're going to be able to live with that excuse if they end up in an OT here.
No, and I don't think they want to be going to an OT versus Fnatic. Historically, it's not been great for them. Durka, though, he's looking for that play. I think he might have been spotted. He definitely saw the legs of Saigetsu. You can see that, for now at least, there isn't much of a rotation at all. The space being taken, though, could be a nasty surprise. You can see the jump spot coming through from Ardis, but again, it's whether or not they've actually spotted this cross.
I don't think they have just yet. And that jump spot might be heard here. Durka seems to be looking for it. Yep, there you go. But just at that moment, he moves away. Doesn't know how lucky he is. Other side of the map, though. Alpha in with a big kill. Sugetsu falls. The A defender won the round after round for FPX, but now everything is falling apart. It looks like we might have an overtime on our hands. Ardis does his best to make sure they close it here. But in the end, the Shao Show needs to return. A 1v4, or else we got a few more rounds to split to go.
Well, they did lose one earlier in the tournament, but I'm pretty sure Fnatic have had a kick up the arse since then. So much for this man to do. They should have completed this in regulation. They should have got themselves a map up, but we are heading to OT. Fnatic on split. Did you expect anything less?
Hey, listen, we heard it from the analyst desk starting out this one. We're going to be here all night.
Yes, has anyone in the crowd got places to be?
I hope not.
That's the question I'm asking right now. Anybody got places to be?
I think the only
I
place
think we're gonna be
overtime.
here a while.
That's for sure. That is for sure. Looking at these two teams, I would not accept anything less.
Seriously, bro,
The
overtime.
question is, can that FPX attack return to former glory? They looked fantastic half number 1. Fnatic have a 4-1 record when facing OT in stage 2. FPX just behind them on 3-2. It's
The
pretty
thing is,
neck and
though,
neck.
I'm pretty sure there's a bigger stat of
I think
Fanatics
Fanatics
let's
are
not
The
start
winning.
fact that you read that out probably puts Fnatic in a little bit of danger.
All
But
right, don't.
Until
We'll
she
have to
gets
wait
the
and see.
clutches.
Oh, this could be a dangerous combo at the start. There were a couple players from FPX here for that C's nade, but it's not going to find anything. It's not going to be even thrown out. Holding it out, Fnatic. Up in hand, Durka, though, not going to get to use it. The smoke blocks him out. They're going to start to seize this same control we've seen from FPX time and time again. Durka avoiding getting caught. Now he can play a bit more aggressive, Tom. He can be a bit more comfortable. He's dodged that boom bot altogether, and there's the opening pick. Wise play by Durka, and now Fnatic don't have as much pressure on their shoulders in these later duels. But Tom, they're pushing up on A. They've gone all the way through. They've got the information. These B players are now ready with Durka in the backlines to support.
Yeah, they've got so much info. They've just sent a Prowler all the way through. You can see instantly that rotation back to watch towards the vents. Counter utility also being thrown out to try and slow them down. FPX have been figured out, at least for now. But they're going to start making their move back towards that A site once again. That aggression that was taken from Fnatic may have given them early results, but for now, the majority of their players are on the wrong side of the map.
Deep nade coming through. It could deal some damage. It definitely slows down a couple of players, but time might not be the biggest of constraints. Still 22 seconds on the clock. FPX definitely need to get moving, but they want to pick first. They haven't been able to weasel one out. They're going for some screens control. That's been spotted. So the players on site should be ready, but it's all down to timing, and Artis is caught and winning the opening. A good shutdown from Alpha, and Enzo slows.
Spikes down.
Maybe
The
enough.
spike's down.
It's done.
What the?
Got three. He won it on the clock, but he wanted to win it with the bullets. One more to go. What? This man is reaching new heights here in overtime.
Who shoots long ways through that? The man was just like, okay, well, the round's done. I might as well go for something audacious.
Wall bank katla dila ba.
Sat in the lead. There were so many opportunities for FPX to take this over the line. That is disgusting. It's his own haunt that gets him the information. Every single piece of utility, perfect. The positioning of that crossfire as well. And well, Fnatic, they know how to put on a spectacle. FPX, though, are not a team to go down without a fight. Now, I'll say Saigetsu, he was right at the top of the board. I don't think he's had a kill in about 6 rounds. And you're witnessing the difference. With this man not being able to put up those insane numbers, this team is starting to fall a little bit flat.
Look, Tommy, it's only one round, but the reality is that's the attack round for FPX. That is the code crack for Fnatic. And this timeout from FPX is them going back to the drawing board. They need to figure this out. There were so many rounds on their defense that they just looked uncomfortable. That Fnatic were able to put the pressure onto them. We can't see that happen here. But you know what? You're giving Bros a minute to have a discussion, and you're facing a different team.
If you ever have a round or a little gimmicky thing, a cheesy strat in the back of that book that basically was crossed out by Doom Bros initially because you're like, Angel, that's a little bit too crazy. This is the time to throw it out. This is the time they need it the most. Even just something to bring them back, pump them up. And while I'm sure Fnatic are already well and truly in that zone.
We saw it in the reactions, right? Everybody getting loud, winning out a big play like that lights the fire underneath in FPX.
Come on,
Defense, as we said, certainly not the strongest facet of their split so far. With a minute 20 on the clock, very little movement. Trying to get a bit aggressive on some of these angles, but ultimately they're leaving the ball on Fnatic's court.
This is much more patient and controlled. They have so much utility on that A site that they basically just need to deny heaven. Now bear in mind, in pretty much every single one of the rounds we saw an A site take, it wasn't an A site take, it was a heaven take.
They're trying to bait them completely. They want somebody on FPX to push mid, to push B, to try and seize back the space, start an early flank. But this is just patient play. And I almost feel like FPX or Angel, you know, suspecting that sort of plays. And guys, don't give them anything. Don't make a predictable reaction here, because that's what Fnatic will be looking for. 40 seconds, sub 40 left on the clock.
They just caught Alpha. Yeah. They got the information they needed. Look at this counter utility from FPX. They've been holding on for the late round, ready for this move to be made. They have them locked into position with Angel set up, ready to make the swing. He's caught the timing, but no! They lose the battles! 2 instant kills coming through for Fnatic. There's still another man on the site. Artis trying his best to fight through, but it will be a 2 versus 4 that FPX need to win. Can they deny the plan? That might be enough. They have stopped it for a second, and they got it! They've stolen it away! There's no plan coming through!
I don't know if that's
I can't.
त्यांनी प्लान डिनाय केलाय पाहिलं
I'm off the blast packs.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
आवाज येतोय?
Alpha did that earlier in the tournament.
प्लांट नाही बघितला काय केला
माहिती त्याने सॅचेस मारलेत भाई
Same play. And that has just
कोचलं
been
डोकं
stolen.
वापरलंय
That round was a 4 versus 2.
Dude,
And they went
sachets.
in with 8 seconds ready to plant. Zipan got that spot on. The biggest plays from the biggest players in the biggest moments. The OT continues.
Overtime number 2. I mean, we warned you if you looked at that last round and thought it was.
Yeah, cancel
being
your dinner
tidied up.
reservations. If you had any already, cancel them.
Yeah.
You will miss them.
Round 27. And we're seeing these teams pump the brakes massively on some of these strats. Even FPX going for their mid
लय
control,
भारी
going
खेळलं
as
ते,
quickly,
लय
but
भारी.
they're also not cancelling out Viper or destroying that utility early. Durka right up on this corner. Sagetsu's close to getting a fight, just a pixel away. But he doesn't want to overextend just yet, and the timing is terrible. He's moving back. That space now being seized. Good kill by Durka, but the side is just disappeared. That is unbelievable. I don't even know that was supposed to be. Maybe heard the steps, something like, no, what is going on?
Ensu's just killing everyone with wallbang. Zipan's able to trade one back, but getting a plant here is going to be difficult. Xiao needs to defend instead. It's left all onto Saigetsu, and he can only do so much. Fnatic take the lead once again. And bear in mind, Mitch, the last time they played this map, the scoreline was 15-13.
And who
Is
took that down?
history about to repeat itself because it was
लय घाण वाचलं ते
That could be
ती ॲस्ट्रोने थोडं मागणं थांबायला पाहिजे ते प्लांट देतोय ना
don't want to be coming in. Having the game in your
I'm starting to
control, in your
believe
grasp.
that
Yeah.
Enzo actually has wall hacks.
Swept back.
Because
Maybe.
he's just killing people through walls at this point. Now, a lot of it's off his own utility, but it's truly ludicrous. Well, he's able to find... Saigetsu has hit 30 kills, just for anybody who couldn't see the scoreboard. It's madness how much he's able to do. But again, FPX, they need a defender side round. They managed it last time off delay. That was all.
Paranoia immediately Fnatic a space.
Good counter flash.
But they're looking everywhere. There's players on A side as well, and we've seen this from Fnatic before. They like that global presence. They like to put the pressure on and try to force a misstep on the other side. It's Angel from miles away. At least spotted them on the cross. I think if anything, this causes a bit more confusion on the FPX side about where things could be going. They saw players outside B moments ago, but that rotation has come all the way through. Now stacked up and ready to take A, but this is exactly where FPX are defending.
I think Turka just dodged the knife. He managed to TP away just in time, and because of that, the 0 point has actually given a false
Side
information.
clear है भाई जा
They've left almost completely just because of that 0 point. They think they've been baited. Once again, Saigetsu is the only man anywhere near. And while this afterplant looks like it's going to be for free, there is no one here to deny it.
And they know backside's clear. They got the reveal up and onto it, plant coming through, and practically no denial for FPX. And you can see Fnatic not planting in a normal spot. I wonder why. Is it that utility last round, I think, given the, or last attack round, gave him a little bit of a nightmare. Oh, the attempt by Sagetsu, it comes close. Oh, he's almost caught reloading. That could have been a disaster.
It's a battle of fine margins, but it's Durka to take the first. They've also killed off Artis as well. It seems to be falling apart for FPX. They need a hero. They need someone to step up here to give them an opportunity. Xiao might be that man. A first kill onto the board. Zipan with another as well. They need to get in onto this site, and quickly as it is, Boaster though will drop another. Angel has brought it back once again. It's left onto the IGL. TPing away. He's managed to avoid it, and the time is already gone. Fnatic are going to take map number 1. 15-13. History has repeated itself again.
It's got to be soul crunching if you're FPX. They were so close to taking this. Even coming towards the end of the second, it looked like they were moments away, numbers of times, but in the end, all they could put up was a good fight. And Fnatic walk out victorious. One more map needed, and the next one up is their pick.
That was map 1. That was just map 1. 15-13, a complete repeat of what we saw last time around, and honestly, a truly absurd way to kick off what could be another cult classic in the series of Fnatic versus FPX.
leg hand
The
comeback
fact is though, both teams have been excellent at winning their own map choices within this series. That has always been the case. You have an Icebox win and a Scent win. That's why it goes to 3, if ever it does. And on the other side of things, FPX have just lost Split. Now what I will say, Mitch, is they know Bind was coming. They had to know, with the way the veto went, that they were going to be playing this map. So if you're an FPX fan, one of that 3.9%, well, there might be some hope just yet.
There could be, but losing out your map pick to start the series, never an ideal way to go. Like you said, though, history repeated itself with the way things went down there.
I get someone in here.
Maybe you have to
fix the shine.
Yeah, fix the shine. It is hot in here. You know what, Tom? Let's go and cool down. We're going to toss things off to a break when we come back.
Got a lot to talk about.
Number 2.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.
Lol.
Fnatic, they had us in the first half, but they managed to close things out in another exhilarating overtime. I'm Yingsu, I'm back on the desk with Jess and Bren. I know we were memeing it, but we all knew that it was going to go to overtime. When it was like 11-9, I was like, no, it's going to overtime.
There was something in the air, wasn't it? I mean, could we have it any other way? Of course, I mean, it was a 30-0 in the past, but literally, would I have it any other way when it goes to OT?
It needs to be one or the other. That's the balance. Yeah. That's the perfect balance. It's either a 13-0 or you go into multiple overtimes. That's the only way you can ever have a split between FPX and FNC.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just outlandish stuff that was occurring. Trust Fnatic as well to deliver some of the most entertaining OT rounds that we've seen this tournament, and honestly, possibly in Valorant history as well. I mean, it's just been ridiculous from start to finish.
I don't know why they always leave it to overtime, because they could have closed that map out a lot earlier if they weren't just trolling in those rounds. But, Bren, there were so many huge individual moments in this map.
I mean, honestly, you had Boaster securing rounds of these high-impact 2Ks. Alpha as well, just shutting down so many huge moments. Enzo being pressured in heaven by 4 players and somehow just walking away with a ton of kills. The multi-kills going his way. It was absurd from start to finish. And in this opening as well, Boaster died of an operator in this round at the beginning. And Alpha and Enzo still come through with an unreal scenes.
Oh man, we're gonna watch this. Watch this. And
Just ridiculous.
There we go.
I want to give a shout out to Enzo's parents. I know they're watching right now in the crowd. Their heart rate must be like through the roof every time Enzo is clutching.
It's an unbelievable kind of statement to make that not just in this series, but the previous series for Fnatic as well, there are moments where a player steps up to the plate to take on the unthinkable. And to have unthinkable moments like that and to go and just say, Enzo's already had multiple of them himself, and to come in this series and go, I could drop a 3K when's necessary, I think that's a completely unreal statement to make about multiple players.
Yeah, the guy has just been unbelievably clutch over the course of this tournament as well. And I mean, me and you, Jess, we were curious as well about where this was going to be leaning. This heat map is just, it's so A-leaning.
Yeah, those who want to understand that A is the only site really that Fnatic, outside of the conditioning.
I love the little spot on B.
Yeah, there's a little spot on B where they did plant. They did think about B.
They also failed to plant there as well.
You're right, so that doesn't count as part of this heat map. But looking over towards A, they have 2 considerable plant spots. They know what their post-plant is around it. But it wasn't just the A takes. The reason that we wanted to talk about the A takes as a whole in this heat map is that they knew that the power position to take this site was heaven. So it wasn't an A take. It was a heaven take with a secondary thought of taking over towards A and getting that plant down. Incredible thinking about power positions on split.
Yeah, I think it was, honestly, they probably didn't know if Sugetsu was going to be running the Killjoy, but it's clear that they looked at the setups on their attack side, and it was part of the reason they had such an edge on it, honestly, just working around it, making sure that they knew, okay, Sugetsu's here with a setup, means probably not going to be holding it with as many players around A heaven or the other extremities that they might be holding on A normally.
It's the G2 Icebox simulator.
It is.
Just go away. It works. It works. It works. But I cannot believe Sugetsu was on the losing team of that map. Here he is in the Verizon high-speed moment
This was
with an incredible ace. And shout out Brent to Timmy the Turret as well for coming through.
You were screaming, Bren. You were
screaming. Surely Sugetsu dies, right? Surely he dies in hell here. There's no way he's able to survive. He swings out and gets
1
4,
HP.
and then his turret gets the ace. I could not believe what I was witnessing. It was just...
His face doesn't change either. He's just like, that's what I do.
Okay,
It's
another
very Nats of him. Just
It is very Nats. And he almost broke the kill max on a single map in this tournament. The kill max is shared between 2 players on 31. He dropped 30, and he was on the losing team. I don't think there's much else to be said. Mind you, sometimes we talk about backpack plays. I don't think Sugetsu necessarily was. The kills might indicate that. But this was a team versus team battle here, and God, we got a bits of everything.
Also, he had 4 players running at him every round.
Yep.
Just like
and somehow
constantly.
just still anchoring it and holding it down and just always trading. Sugetsu had an absolute monster of a map as well. I think as well, I mean, the reason we highlighted Fnatic's big plays at the beginning is because those were the things that gave them the edge to even stay in the series in the first place.
Right.
And I'm wondering as well, is this the thing that they're going to be leaning on the entire time now coming into this tournament? Are they just going to be relying on their players like Enzo to get 3Ks all the time? I mean, the guy's ice cold, but how cold can he possibly be? This venue's boiling.
I feel like that's how they got here, right? They got here on the back of those rounds that you were talking about. Before we head into map 2, it's time for the AIM Lab shoot-around, and right now we're watching Fnatic's Mystic there. Again, with the troll process, I feel like we've had a few of those. Don't scan the QR code.
Scan the QR code.
You don't want this.
Mystic's running his inner Devi. Remember Devi ran it in the match. He ran that crosshair, so...
I mean... This guy's just practicing on like what is this, Quake FOP? Just 200%.
It's hard to look at. I'm gonna have to look away from it.
It's making me nauseous.
I will say that the players like Mystic, like Enzo, you know, the support players, even we talk about the controllers, but these are the players that have got their teams the furthest in this tournament.
Yes.
It's not so much about the Jets, the Chambers, or the Razors anymore.
Yeah, I think, as I said, this is a team effort, and this is what I wanted to see from both of these teams. Boaster, my God, has he stepped up. This has got to be, I will run the numbers. I promise you I will get back to you after this map or even halftime. This is one of his best performances, even if we're talking offline, online. I don't even care what environment we're talking. Best performances that I've seen from Boaster. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he likes to be in front of a crowd, so I think he has a bit of a crowd buff here. We are heading into Bind, and the last time we saw Fnatic play Bind, I think, Bren, you had a heart attack for all of overtime when you were casting that match. Do you expect FPX to be able to challenge them the way that Leviathan
I
did?
don't think any team is going to be able to challenge them like Leviathan did, just because the nature of that game was so all over the place. It was back and forth. I mean, Fnatic had to pull out so many clutches over and over and over again to even like stand a chance of even bringing it back. There were incredible moments, but I think it comes back to what I was talking about prior, which is that these are two familiar opponents that know each other really well. They're regional opponents. They're kind of almost domestic rivals in terms of the way that they play each other. And so I think it doesn't lead to as many of those overheat moments. Although I say that, that last month that we just witnessed would beg to differ.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think also you can look at the guild match that FPX had and you go, well, that was such a dominant win. Isn't that something we should move forward with? Again, please wipe the slate clean here when we're talking about these two teams in this map pool. There's not much we can go back on other than the fact that they have repeated history on map number 1.
Well, we're into the Prime Gaming Agent Select here. Both of these teams, they've played Bind already in this tournament. Both have been somewhat pretty successful, FPX more so than Fnatic here, and it looks like there's going to be no changes agent-wise going on to this one.
They're going to be playing pretty familiar stuff, I think, coming into this. And with the exception, of course, of like the double controller that they somehow swindled, triple controller, I should say. No, that's going to be incorrect. But the comps that they're playing are the exact same as what they played prior to this. So again, it's just comfort for both of these teams. Both of them playing exactly what they know. There's no change-ups, no switch-ups with the time that they've had to prep for this match.
Yeah, here we go. Just to show you guys once again the agents they're going to pick. And Jess, I know he said Zipan was Brimstone on that big screen, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be locking the Raze here.
Yeah, I quoted him being one of the best Razers in the world. I still stand by that. I think when he's at the top of his game, he is one of the best Raze players in the world. Bind is a map where you must be able to traverse at incredible speeds. We've seen Guild, they've been able to use it. That was something that they were able to weather the storm with. He needs to be that lead player.
Last time Fnatic ended up playing Bind, Durka had a bit of an underperformance, I think, comparative to where we expected him. This map right here, I want to see him have a big finish to try and close the series out.
Yeah, let's hope for some defuses, right? And stick the spike.
Yeah,
plant the spike,
That was
defuse the
Enzo.
spike.
That was Enzo.
Yeah, let's just like do some normal stuff. You know, I want to see some normal stuff.
Yeah, you've cursed it now, Yinsu.
Oh,
congratulations, you played yourself.
I reckon Mystic's gonna get an ace on the AWP. That's my hot take.
I hope Boaster brings another op over towards Showers and absolutely rings them clean.
I mean, I feel like you can only do that once, right? FPX, they know he might do that, so they're probably going to be a little bit more vigilant on their side.
That is the circumstance of which he brought. I can't remember what it was. It was like 14 something, 16 or something in the OT. And I mean, for him to have the cojones to do that in the first place is ridiculous. It's just absurd. No one's doing that. I mean, he shouldn't have got away with it.
Well, I'm excited to see what both of these teams can do on Bind, and it's time to throw this over to your casters, Tom and Mitch.
Well, we've certainly had a good start to this series. It delivered all the way, and now it's time to get on to map number 2. We're heading on to Bind. This is where Fnatic wanted to start things out, and this could be where they close it, already with a map under their belt moving into this pistol.
Yeah, the fact is we actually saw Boasters up in the last map on the attack, so to count that out, I'm disappointed in the desk, but you know, they're trying to curse us as much as possible, and you know what? We've seen long games of Bind before. FPX have looked good. They smashed Guild on this map recently, and the recent results for Fnatic have either been close or even losses versus Paper X. So we definitely have the opportunity here for FPX to turn this one around.
The chances are there. This defense stacked up on the A side. They got plenty of players being spotted to an extent. Zipan on top. They know that he's there. They were spamming away, and the nade even took him down. He's 55 health as he backs off. 4 players on A, though. You know, FPX are pretty happy to sit back to avoid some of these fights and let Fnatic come on in.
That's the thing. This is the confidence that they have in Saigetsu. After map 1, I think everybody in the arena understands why. He was truly ludicrous. Actually, Angel has been forced back off the angle. Pressure's starting to come in. Zipan will kick things off with the initial frag.
Oh, Xiao's on one as well. FPX holding back and using their numbers. We've seen their trade ability in some of the previous rounds here in the pistol. They're not even needing trades. They haven't lost a single man yet with Enzo on 8, and the nade has chased him down. That is a clean start to Bind.
Yeah, Prime Gaming flawless to start in the pistol round. Zipan as well was tagged to what, like 50, 25 HP, something of the sort. In the very early stages, still manages to come out with 3 kills. So the beginning that FPX needed, I think especially after a map like the last, where it's so desperately close, you basically have an opportunity to take it over the line, go into Bind, which as said, they've looked fantastic on, with a sort of clean start, and instead, they let that one slip away. So getting the pistol here, I think is going to be important.
For sure. Now, we've seen these little buys from FPX before. players on pistols and a rifle to try and bridge the gap. It allows them a massive bit of runway coming into the next round to have some more rifles to play with. And over on the Fnatic side,
Nothing.
El Clasico.
Okay, maybe not nothing. Somehow they've opened up. How have they got 2 kills? Duck already finding a couple. I said they invested nothing. They didn't even have themselves any upgraded pistols whatsoever. This would be an atrocious round to let slip away. And actually, Angel's gone swinging in. Somehow, the Classics are doing the work.
This is unbelievable. Inconceivable. Fnatic just blitzed out. I mean, there was no complexity to this. This wasn't like the previous.
Spike down.
Artis is left alone though, but he's managed to turn it. And actually, with the spike not being planted, there's still a real opportunity for him. He's going to try re-aggressing. Bear in mind, as I've said, Fnatic have nothing. So Mystic is still left with just a single flash. And actually, he's going to throw the gun away. Make it so that it's not retrievable. There was another one still within Hookah, so unless Mystic managed to find the perfect timing, there was no real way for him to be aware of that spot. He's going to start making his move. I think Artis might have just played this one perfectly. He's even spotted him as he looks to make his way through. It was a clutch that was needed, a Red Bull one at that, with FPX scraping through this second round.
And hey, they recovered that rifle, Tom, so all things considered. Yeah, this was a costly round, but actually with the way that FPX plays these low buys, even just getting out with the win, it doesn't put them in the worst position because they had those 2 pistols to play with. The rebuy up here, it sort of does take away the bonus aspect of it, though. Most of the time.
Yeah, they still actually have enough credits that they will be able to buy into the next round. So it's sort of that gamble that we've been seeing. I can't say I particularly like it, and especially some of the bold plays that were there, but Fnatic made that one incredibly costly. If they win this one back cleanly as well, well, they could be off to a flyer of a start.
I will say, though, for FPX, having that cash still in the back pocket, 3 rifles coming into a bonus round. Sure, there's some light shields mixed in there, but all things considered, this is a really powerful buy for FPX, and they're, gambling on the next round. So damage is almost the name of the game here in Fnatic. They've got players stacked up, but Alpha's walked straight through. He's caught 1. He won't get 2. Sagetsu holding strong and has support still. Could have flashes coming around any moment. Xiao's got the cross angle too. Fnatic, they sense they can't just go running in.
For this position from Enzo. I don't know if Artis is going to be expecting him. No, he's not. It should be for free. Oh, it's a little bit shaky, but he does get the job done. Turns it into a 4v3 scenario. Risk the Alpha. What? He saw the traces back. Sagetsu is an animal. But look at where the spike is. This deep push has almost sold a fake story to the side of FPX, thinking that no one could possibly be heading in towards the B site. Instead, they make their way through Hookah. The plant will be for free, but that flank will be fast.
Zipan decides not to play the aggressive early flank through Hookah, but that means that they're now on Fnatic acknowledging we got the site for free, no one was here, and we didn't come through long. So that's probably where that guy is. And the flash has just confirmed that Zipan not under that much pressure. Hookah Sagetsu's here and almost getting away with another ace. The nade in, and Mystic won't win it. FPX get away with a third. This bonus round had its weaknesses, but it just didn't seem to matter in the end.
FPX playing the try and survive with more than one player challenge. They managed to do it in the pistol, but again, just looking so good in these late round scenarios. And even though the information they kind of got sold them the wrong way, it was just Zipan's reposition towards the end. And this man, like honestly, if they come out of this series with a win, I feel like this man has just put himself in position to actually be maybe the MVP of the entire tournament. Because the fact is, you have to bear in mind, he didn't even get to play the early stages. It's not like he got to go through, like, it's been said on the desk, like, oh, you know, those earlier games, the easier games. Sagetsu's had no easy games. He's still looking like the best player in the server.
Oh, this flash play coming out on mid right away. FPX taking the fight to them. And they'll win both of those. Artis spraying away, full blinded is caught. Now that's a bit of trouble, but Zipan is there to help out. Even more support coming through from Angel, but he's a little late to the party. With Alpha on 5 HP, they will survive. Fnatic able to reset into a late round fight. But I mean, really? One away from a Viper's Pit, but on 5 HP, you're not even going to use that.
That's the thing, that they've not even invested a massive amount into this round. They're saving up for the next one, so any cost that they can create. As we've mentioned, there are no credits on the side of FPX, even though they've won themselves 3 rounds in a row and are looking at a 4th. So if they can even just drop a couple more players, the thing is though, even going into the next round, FPX are going to have some pretty damn powerful ults ready. wouldn't be surprised to maybe see the guns switch. But actually, they're going to find a second one.
They've just dropped the pit on mid, and that's going to be noted by Fnatic, and they're starting to make their way back over here. Whether they think Sugetsu's gone on a long flank, or a long rotation, excuse me, through their own spawn, the defender spawn, or whether they assume he's pushed up here is going to be the difference between winning or losing this duel. And Alpha, well, he's caught, and so is Enzo. Sugetsu with a solid double, and a 4th round now, Fnatic falling behind.
Yeah, there needs to be a response, and there needs to be one quick. They're getting out-dueled, but also I love the fact that FPX are being so proactive. They're not allowing for any of these setups to come through. They're not allowing them to get into any of the after-plant positions which Fnatic have been renowned for in the past. That was what they were, the God Squad at after-plants when it came to bind. For now, at least, they're being pressured all over the map. And even though FPX take a lot of casualties in those battles, it's worth it, because it forces Fnatic into a much more reactive and disjointed style of play, which, hey, FPX will capitalize on.
And so far, they certainly have been. A lot of convincing rounds and good defenses for them. Fnatic are going to swap things up now. Rifles in hand, moving towards this B site early. Trying to take as much or put as much pressure through as they possibly can. A snake bite for top side. You almost think that's supposed to coincide with Enzo going through, or a peek out on long, something like that. But they're denied the control. Again and again, Sugetsu is here, the roadblock that turns Fnatic to the other side of the map.
And you can see Fnatic having to check absolutely everything. They're so worried about this positioning that has been taken in the prior rounds. You can see the lurk from Boaster just in case they try and make a move, but instead, this time Durka leading the charge. Showstopper utilized, but the seize is just perfect. He can't go any further, and there's an orbital strike on his head. He has to try and escape from it. Nade through, and he will actually be able to dodge because of the counter utility that's been thrown, but they haven't rotated. You might be expecting someone to move on the other side of the map, but no. They were holding, they were waiting, and now Fnatic, they only have 30 seconds to try and get into this site.
They actually fully commit to that. They could have been in trouble. The rotations were perfect from FPX, but actually, they've gone to the other side. They've looked for A, and Durka's managed to catch Xiao. A great lurk, and that's going to lead to a plant for sure on this site.
Yeah, nothing this time that can really deny it. There is a showstopper available for Zipan, but to throw it in here would be far too much of a risk. Wanting to wait for his teammates to try and clear out the flank. You can see that slowly coming through from Sugetsu. Heals being given out, so he's going to know roughly where one of the players is on the other side, but not quite going to catch him just yet.
This comes down to Alfia, really, and whether he checks this or not, he's on his way back, and he's faced Sugetsu, but no one great shot out of Mystic. Sugetsu's known, they know exactly where he's coming from, and he won't win the duel. Fnatic come out on top.
Yeah, real opportunities there for FPX on the way back in, but they're just unable to find anything, and it's just the initiative play from Durka that basically wins them that round. A sneaky push through, he got through the C's, and then the orbital strike didn't finish him off. I think it was just that little bit delayed from the side of FPX, almost just trying to buy time instead. And whoa, nobody on the other side expected him to be this deep. And that, what?
It does look more ridiculous from his perspective, actually. You know, no one expected him to be there, talking about Durka, because he avoided all of their utility. Like, he had the one spot that he was safe in, and they're like, okay, well, this guy, maybe he's like in bathroom or something, but probably fell back with the rest of the team. Still managed to get the jump. Great early fight, and Mystic's punished for that nasty shot he hit last round.
He almost peeks around the edge of the spam. You've also got some vulnerabilities in the economy from FPX, even after that streak, because of how close some of the rounds have been. But all that means is Sugetsu ends up on a judge, and he's playing in lamps. So, in other words, it's not a disadvantage at all.
Angels pop down another smoke. That one's inside of Hookah. It's kept them back again. Fnatic looking to the other side of the map, the A site where they want to go. Alpha already sneaking his way in, getting a foothold, but the important angles aren't clear just yet. This guy's crazy. He's walked around the smoke. They seem to be conscious of it, but Artis can't win the fight. And Alpha, wow, he has got a judge on the other side waiting for him, and I'm not sure you can quite expect that play to be coming through. If anybody does challenge this, they could be in a lot of trouble, and Sugetsu already grabbing himself one and cementing this control for the team. Still, though, that doesn't stop the plans.
I knew how important it was. Pushes in towards that snake bite. This man has already done damage on 1 HP before, and so you're going to see the fallback. Angel cements this man advantage further. There's still a flank coming in as well. I don't know if this is going to be expected from Enzo. It's free on the side of FPX. It's left all onto Boaster. to try and attempt this clutch versus 3 more players, already throwing out that little bit of utility, expecting somebody will peek him on the other side, and he will be able to deny the diffuser for at least a moment, but there was so much time for FPX.
Yeah, they knew that they had that one locked down. You saw them just stand up in that triple line ready to at least, you know, they lose 1, they maybe lose 2, but someone has to follow through. 5-1, a very impressive start to this from a defensive perspective. FPX have been looking a whole lot better, and you know, it's surprising looking back at Split. There were just so many gaps there that Fnatic were able to exploit and catch them off guard with. Even in this one, Alpha Air is trying to replicate some of that with those little sneaky A plays, or last round Durka getting up in their face, and that's only in the early attack.
That's the thing, I feel like there are still gaps, but firstly, FPX's retakes on the A site have been sublime. They've been able to section everybody off. I think the flanks coming through have also caused a lot of problems for Fnatic that they haven't really been able to deal with. But also, I feel like those lurk plays from Alfia especially, they've only ever got 1 kill. Like, it's, okay, I'm going to swing through this smoke, I get 1, and then there's an instant trade. And a lot of that has been down to Saigetsu. The man is 9-3, and a lot of the time he's been playing a solo hold. He's had a teammate lost, and then he fights it back and brings it back himself. And as we've said in the last map, the value that this man is bringing is unmatched at the moment within the server. And Fnatic, well, already, they're going to take themselves another timeout, take themselves a moment to try and come up with something. The problem is, Mitch, their economy stinks.
Oh, we got a Vova in the crowd now, in the house. Give us a little wave. There we go.
I'd like to know who he's supporting today. You know, I'm sure that he's played against both of these teams. I'm sure that maybe they haven't gone quite as well as he would have liked, but I'm interested to see which way Avova was leaning. I'm sure he'll let us know at some point, but ultimately, right now,
Golden Boy out there with a crowd mic.
Are you just going are you just sending Golden Boy places now?
He's not doing anything, is he? Sat around.
Just chilling.
5-1 luck. It's not an easy place for Fnatic to have to take this kind of buy. They've got so many weaknesses here. Just look at the pistols. You got a judge in play for Durka, but hey, that might not be a weakness. It could end up being a strength if he can manage to weasel his way in towards lamps. Well, blast pack plays have been nasty before.
There.
That's the thing, he's already used this screen to get deep control. Boaster throwing out his utility, but he might not expect this. Push through from Durka, though. He's going to find one off the back of the judge. Drop it as well. The swing comes back out, but actually it's not connected from Zipan. Oh, this is surrounded, and Durka lands the shot again. These weaker weapons working out for Fnatic. And they're even going to, again, they throw in the Viper Spit. They know how important this is, but they don't need it. Durka has left it onto Xiao. He needs an ace.
This guy, you see him with a judge, attack side, and just know what he's going to do. He's blast packing in your face and winning the round for the team. I mean, this is a team that has struggled to find any form of foothold in these early rounds, and now off the back of one of the cheaper guns in the game, they got 3 kills on Durka. A plant and, well, a round win. Xiao left to save this, and him against the world, he certainly ain't feeling his odds. Alpha's better push him. Okay, no, he's grabbing a weapon. That makes a bit more sense.
He has to run. He should be able to get to the TV, so it's fine, but yeah. Just going to be Fnatic basically using the power of Durka to get them around. A huge victory coming through from them as well. And that's the thing, I like the pace change, because a lot of the time in these early duels, you've seen Saigetsu just been able to survive. And because of that, when it comes down to a retake, it's almost just too easy for them to just get back in. Yeah, I can understand the frustration, because ultimately 2 of those initial kills were, well, BS.
Yeah, no, you get blast packed like that, the wall was kind of in his way, he's dancing left and right of it, and all of a sudden there's a shotgun taking him down. That's certainly not the nicest of starts to a round. The frustration clear, and we've got a timeout on the back of that. FPX not afraid to take a moment, even though they've got this significant lead. We said, and like we saw last map, Fnatic can definitely come back into it if you give them that opportunity.
Yeah, you don't want to give them that runway, especially off a round like that. That's a confidence builder. Durka has been someone in this series that he's been good, but he's not been Durka. He's not been up the very top of the board, leading the way, destroying everybody along that route. And I think we can expect to see that from him somewhere within this series. So the fact that he's been able to start things off, I'm also looking at the fact that at least right now, he has a judge again. Even though he picked up a weapon, even though he got a multi-frag, he's just gone straight back to the gun that basically did the damage in the last round. The thing is, though, for FPX, financially, because of how so close all of these rounds have been, they're not going to have much in this one.
It's almost the perfect counter, you know. If they're rocking a judge, just judge them back
Buy
and
another
blast back
judge.
into their face. Look, it could work out. And as well as that, Durka just went away from rolling in with that showstopper. So I think in this round right here, he's going to be happy up against a weaker buy to be the recon dart of the team, go in close, maybe get someone, but at a minimum, gain the space for his team. Now he's kind of screwed. Yeah, that was a great counter by FPX. You could see how prepared they were for that exact play to come through.
Yeah, they use a double snake bite just to basically completely deter that early presence. The thing is, though, Althea has picked up that judge and will reclaim the ground. They're actually going to use the orbital strike. They're waiting for him, and he's only going to get one. These counters from FPX have been sublime. And just look how far back the guys of Fnatic are. You can see, though, the lurk from Boaster. Looking to try and make his way back in towards this B site. Now, he can't go anywhere near Hookah because of the gun that Artist currently has. But everywhere else on the map is free real estate.
Certainly sneaking his way through, the rest of the team having to be quiet, but all this time it comes down to what the players are doing on the other side of the map, and one of them is rotating with Xiao now being close, and he's a player with a Vandal in his hand, looking for the fight on long. He's ready for them to come out there, but not for Boaster to already be through. He snuck his way into elbow. There's the peek from Xiao. The kill found, the reveal, not landing anything else. His jump spot doesn't see anything, but now, is he thinking they could be behind him? He better be. Because Boaster's sneaking right the way through. He could catch Angel here.
He could fit. Oh! He knows all the information. He knows the ones within the tube. If he gets that kill, they can actually get onto the site, looking to try and find a little more, and the weaponry just isn't there. Angel, though, trading back, leaving Mystic alone. A 1v3, 15 seconds, and just not really much hope to find anything here. Has to try and jump forward, and in the meantime, well, Angel is going to go for the swing. A thrifty round right back for FPX as they make their lead even greater, Mitch.
That first fight from Durka, I mean, you know, you just got red on that play.
Yeah.
Attempted it previous round, go for it again, and FPX were more than ready. Zipan in the open, snake bites down. Just no space to be landed. Look at that. How beautiful. And I think there could have been a little bit more, I guess, runway given off the back of those blast packs, so it certainly helped out that he ended up falling right in the middle of the open. Oh, okay. Well, he's flashing for him, and that's all that matters.
That's impressive, considering he's playing Brim.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't notice that patch come through. I don't know what the stimmy does now, but Angel's figured something out.
He swapped it out. He used the Molotov
Changed
as
his
a flash.
loadout. Fair enough. Okay, right away, Durka's coming in and taking Sagetsu. There'll be no Viper's Pit to play with in this round. It's just ruthless.
Yeah, that's the man you want to clear out. Spamming those ultimates to try and give them space again, though. They don't have lamps in the swing. Durka tries to reload in the open, not expecting Xiao to just peek straight out. He's being pressured, though. Coming in from behind will be Althea. He does get caught, and Mystic goes down as well, trying to delay this push back through us already. They look to try and swing back in. Althea with a tasty little double, and it leaves Artist to try and fight things back. But the man from Turkey is not going to allow it. A 4K and another round.
This youngster's been capturing hearts around the world, and EMEA certainly drawing a lot of attention. And now topping out that scoreboard for Fnatic. A third round thanks to him. And they'll keep trying to trade these back and forth. A good response to the previous round. And
one enemy remaining.
well, I certainly counted them out a couple of these. I love the idea of going into the nade. Just taking that one blast of it completely caught him off guard. Fnatic certainly not down and out yet. They've got 3, and their opponents don't have a lot of cash. So some serious weaknesses.
Don't say anything. Don't say anything. We've seen how some of these rounds have gone. Closer once again. Holding back, and I think that means Saigetsu's actually just going to be able to retrieve the rifle. That's something for him at least, and because his teammate's gone down, I think he expects that no one's going to be holding this anymore. Mystic's still watching. Saigetsu needs an instant headshot. Instead, it's there on the other side. A little over-aggressive this time from Saigetsu, who's had so much success in early rounds, but they've started to deal with him.
We saw a few rounds attempted like this from Fnatic before, where they were trying to catch players getting aggressive. Obviously, you have much more success in a round like this, though, where there's 2 weaker weapons to work with. As soon as you lose that one guy, whoever has a weapon or feels like they've got that space, and you got to just take the risk, roll the dice, and sometimes it doesn't work out. That's just how it be. Zipan going down, Xiao with a shorty, and there's a kill for it. He won't get anything else, but you know what? Oh!
No, it's not going to matter. Durka will clear him. Good round from Fnatic. they've been shaky in some of these rounds where they've been up against the pistols. So the fact that they kept that one nice and clean, bought through some extra weaponry, but I think things get a lot tougher from here. Saigetsu, the rest of the team are going to be buying up. He has his ultimate online with the Viper's Pit. You've also got the showstopper from Zipan, who currently still sits right at the top of the board. But there is that Viper's Pit on the other side. So if Fnatic can get into an afterplant once again, things will get difficult for FPX.
Yeah, we didn't really see that much from the previous one either, right? I mean, it was put down and Durka just kept on popping heads, so they never got a chance to attempt that retake. This time around, a little bit of a different pace out of Saigetsu. He's going to go right away with a Viper's Pit of his own, securing that A mid area, and, well, that should leave Fnatic in a bit of a rough spot, but they were almost expecting it. Much less presence around the mid area, and they're now focusing themselves in towards Bathroom, taking the control with the Trailblazer, grabbing their orb as well, and from here, Tom, they could ult out onto site with Alpha here if they want to. They've got options.
Is Hardis going to pop flash, or is he just going to sit on the edge? He has the utility if they desire, but instead, it looks like there's going to be a crunch in the other direction. Now, Saigetsu does seem to be watching that position. The rotation is there from Angel as well. Bear in mind, he has his orbital strike online. If he spots them, he could basically stop this push in its tracks.
Launching smoke. You are divided.
Here it comes, Cosmic Divide. They'll step out. That molly's good, though. An orbital strike on the back of it, and that's put them in a tough spot. They've got to sit back and... Oh, what? I thought he was dead! I thought they delayed the rest of the team so they could deal with Durka, but he's come out on top in a fight! Mystic's got 2! And Fnatic, they're not letting this round go! They've got it locked down, spike planted. And Xiao and Zipan against the world. Sure, they've got a showstopper, but I doubt you even use it here. They need some kills right away, or they're going to be looking probably at a save, Tom. I mean, look at the credits.
Oh, that round has got to be heartbreaking for FPX. They had everything as a counter. They threw that utility in. They sectioned off the initial push. They have an orbital strike. But Durka. That's all you can really say. But Durka. Just goes diving through into the site, finds them the opener. Mystic picking up a double as well. And once again, you find FPX in such a strong position initially, and it's now slipping away from them. They're at least making this one a little bit costly, but for Fnatic, they don't mind throwing a couple of weapons, especially if it slips away.
Yeah, and going down to Zipan, right? He ain't getting any orbs for that, but the showstopper still in back pocket. This half was looking pretty rough for Fnatic, but they have recovered it beautifully. One round between them, and FPX might be able to push up to 7, but I'll say even that's got to be disappointing.
So nuts. Oh, he can't even see him. That's the thing. Angel has got to just bug. You can see it. You can see it on his face. That was a kill that he definitely should have been winning. And then you just have Mystic destroying anybody as they try and come out of the Viper's Pit. That all fell apart when Angel died.
Yeah, they did everything right. Everything in the setup, but sometimes a player like Durka is going to come through and just mechanically wow you. The 6-5 scoreline. FPX's defense is coming to a conclusion, and either way, it's a disappointing one, but if they equalize it here, Fnatic will really have the wind in their sails coming into next half. This has got to be a stop out of the defense, and, well, they're stacked up on A. They're looking for control there. They were looking for Bathroom. They're seeing nothing, and now Fnatic are giving away where they're coming to. Angel under threat, but he's got the kill. A huge one with a molly down after. That's going to delay the rest of the team. He's stuck in a corner, and a showstopper won't get a kill, but it does push the rest of the team back.
Might mean that there could be a weapon to be had. Something extra to throw into this round. The Seeker is actually going to give away the position of Ardis, but nobody really nearby. Almost able to catch him, but Althea doesn't. Leaving now a couple of low players on the side of Fnatic and a build-up in towards Zipan. He's currently playing below, and I don't know if this is something that will be checked necessarily.
Angel's just burned up his last smoke. 30 seconds left. No, he's now down to just the Sheriff. He's almost just a Cypher Cam.
He's actually gone in! Oh, it's almost won! But actually, Boaster's going to win the duel anyway. An opportunity for this to almost fall apart for the side of Fnatic, but instead, they're now going to go moving through. A chance for them to pick up that pace into the site, but again, the trades are effective, keeping it into a 2v2 scenario. Ardis finds one, but it's down to Althea. The 1v1 versus Xiao, and he'll land the shot. It will be FPX taking themselves home, a lead in this first half, but a much narrower one than it could have been.
Yeah, definitely. Look, they really had this locked down at a certain point, but a couple of rounds that go Fnatic's way, and this is very doable for them coming into the next half. Certainly not facing nearly the pressure that they were in the last game come halftime.
The question is now, though, is there going to be those adaptations? Is there going to be that strong attacking side, which we have seen from FPX every single time they play on any map? They are always so structured in those scenarios. And well, luckily, I don't have to answer that question because we have a wonderful analyst desk.
Oh, Tom's being nice to us. I'm not used to it. But what I am used to is FPX leading. They take the 4 rounds right off the bat. Fnatic, fortunately, they get back into it. But are you guys worried at all? This pattern of them just absolutely getting decimated in the beginning of the map?
It's a significant pattern. And honestly, the reason they've been staying in has been those huge moments from individuals on Fnatic as well. But I mean, when we were building this halftime as well, we were looking at it was all FPX focused in terms of just the dominance that they've been showing. A big part of that being Sagetsu, from just the way that this guy was playing early on to set them up, because he was having a monstrous time as well. Playing Viper, I mean, I think it was mentioned at least once or twice in terms of just comparing his performance to players like Nats, which is what we know historically, like these Viper players popping off. Same on the other side for Alpha here, but this play here, Jess, was just absurd. The guy has just been so integral for them being able to hold down these sites.
And it's important as well to note that Fnatic is clearly trying to target him as well. Obviously, as the role of the Viper, the controller player, you're playing power positions throughout the map as well, so that's going to be a secondary to your snakebite and whatnot. But Fnatic realized that, and they said if we can hunt him down, especially when we're looking at the second quarter, we shut down one of the biggest pieces of FPX's defense, then we could do a lot here, and they did, and that's where the comeback started to come in. So I think Fnatic read it. Yes, it took until the second quarter, but that first quarter of play from Sagetsu really showed us that unimpeded, he is one of the best players in the roster.
I want to talk about Durka as well, because this guy, we say that he has to show up, and Brent, he is showing up.
I think he's had some incredibly high impact kills to get his team back into this, and honestly, you could say the same about a previous map as well. Durka has been absolutely popping off, a lot of lurk plays where he shouldn't have got value. There was one instance where he had to double satchel out of an orbital strike and still got a kill. I mean, you just can't make this up. I don't know how he's managing to do that, but he is a core reason as why this match and this map here is so close right now between both of these teams. It would be looking way more one-sided if it wasn't for Dirk.
It's funny as well because I can bring up Angel and his ability to have control on the other side. Bring up Alpha, for example, who's having another pop-off game. This is what we need in this matchup here. If FPX wants to make it to map 3, everyone has to step up. And if Fnatic want to take this 2-0, every single piece of the motor needs to be moving at the same speed. I feel they're getting there. And I understand that lacking of the flank control in that first half or the first quarter was something they plugged the hole with Boaster. We pointed that out. But now it's their chance to see what it can do on the attack.
Well, FPX, they got 7 rounds here. It wasn't enough for Leviathan, but Tom and Mitch, let's see if that is going to be enough for them here.
Certainly a big task ahead of them, Tom. And I mean, how are you feeling coming into this second half? FPX on attack always put up numbers. That's the thing. I feel like they are a side that directly works on these set executes. And I think they are one of the best teams in the world at it. So Fnatic are going to have their work cut out. But when we see Durka getting onto that defensive side, when we see that sort of holds out from Alpha, I think Fnatic can turn this one back once again. Already they're going for this pinch. Early doors straight through the TP, but they're only going to meet Xiao. In fact, the rest of the team are looking to try and challenge in towards that B-side. Boaster already winning the opening duel, but not expecting a follow-up from Sagetsu. Yeah, I mean, that nade just forced him way out into the open. And now, the rest of the team over on FPX blitz in through long. They've got the control, so no need to fight elsewhere. Only a sliver of health left there. Durka wasn't going to be escaping. This has been a solid start for FPX. Spike plants and post plants to play with. They didn't quite get the reveal on Enzo there, so he might have timing. Yeah, the thing is, though, time in general. It's not going to be easy for them to break back in, even if they manage to kill off that play on the flank. No, Xiao! That's a second duel that he's won, catching players out. Mystic trying to swing back through. He's got Alpha leading a little bit further. One comes for free. Artist not expecting anybody to be that far forward. Because of that, they might be able to get onto this defuse already, looking for that peek out. Once again, Mystic holding it, and well, he's got to try and get back on. Already 2 players from different positions, an almost impossible task to try and find anything here, just hoping he can bait them into the swing, but Sagetsu with another triple will be putting an 8th onto the board. Extending their lead. I mean, FPX have been fantastic in the early halves, that's for sure. But this pistol under their belt, things should extend even further. I mean, for Fnatic, Okay, you take this one as an eco, but we've seen what the Classics can do before. They won that round on the attack with Classics after just a straight blitz in through hookah, so I don't even know that I want to count this one out.
I don't want to say anything just because it's this team. Like, they seem to be so creative with what they do in rounds where I feel like a lot of people would just do nothing. It's like, screw it, it's an eco round, we got nothing to play with.
Or something like you see the normal enough stuff like crunching in on a part of the map and just trying to overwhelm, but Fnatic, like the idea that they had on Split for blitzing out and taking the Heaven control, using that as conditioning a couple rounds later when they blitz out and take a site after FPX had adjusted to maintain Heaven. They've had a lot of ideas here. The mind game's certainly at play, which is something that, I mean, even thinking way back to like 2 years ago, something we were excited about, the Boaster Angel mind games, and getting to see it here in full effect. Fnatic down with the numbers, and they've caught Angel. They've taken him down and gotten out of there. Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. They've spotted the majority of players, but the fact is you almost have to have this swing back. Now it's going to be equalized fairly easily, and that will be the B site firmly under the control.
Okay.
What's he even spraying at this point? Just has a perfect read on where they could be, and what was a little bit dangerous initially now comes back to normality. No real chance for the remaining Fnatic players to get anything here.
Spike planted.
Yeah, even damage is going to be hard to come by. And these players have got rifles. There's no need for them to get aggressive and play into you unless they want to try and farm up some old Torbs or make use of their good old Spectres while they can. Enzo certainly not having the best of times here on this map. He's trying to...
I imagine he's going to go through the TP and
into
the
Spike, yeah.
He's being pressured. They want this ult orb, and you can actually see on the other side that Artis is going to be waiting. The problem is he can't really play deep enough that he should be able to get his kill. Like, it should just be fairly easy for him to just run back through that TP. And, well, he is going to be waiting there, and actually, there you go. They get it anyway. A great round for FPX. One player lost. Normally, I didn't check, but they normally have a pistol anyway, so I imagine there won't be too much weaponry lost. But now this has to be almost an instant response. You don't want to be sat there with FPX on double digits with you with half the rounds.
Yeah, I mean, this is where the real game starts, right, in this half. You have those first two. They go in favor of FPX. That's your early injection of rounds. This is where things actually matter and where Fnatic need to make their defense at least a lot stronger than what we saw previously. You got 5 on the board to start, weapons galore. FPX, well, they seem to want to pressure B right away. A lineup for the knife. They're going to be blitzing down towards long. Alpha here already giving up a bit of control, and it looks like Fnatic will just pull back. They don't want to get involved in this early skirmish.
They probably would have hoped that they'd catch Alpha here, but they've at least denied any of that information utility to be had by Mystic. He can't throw it out, at least for the moment. A little bit of aggression coming in for the rotation to be able to be had. They already have 3 players within this site. Actually, haven't found any contact just yet. Darker just went through the TP. They actually had themselves a grab wall as well to catch anybody on that flank. Darker needs a kill though, and instead, it's just flying back into the favor of FPX. Trades galore as Angel gets a triple. Now it's left all on to Enzo, and Saigetsu is there to close it. 10 rounds on the board, Mitch. And while Fnatic have a long way back now.
Yeah, that they do. And this is going to be a treacherous road for the defense. They're on pistols right away, so that disadvantage is going to really weigh heavy on them. And then coming out of that, FPX will essentially just be one domino flick away from closing this map out. That said, Fnatic have done it before. They've made that comeback on the previous map. This one...
Might be returning, although Alfia wasn't even in that team. He's just looking to try and join up with the old Summon boys. The fact is, though, you can't expect a lot from this round at all.
No. It's one that if Fnatic even walk out with 2 or 3 kills, they'll be over the moon, most likely. But it's so deep into this game at this point, even though we're just starting out this half, essentially. We've had 1 bye round. But FPX are, well, they're knocking on victory's door. We come into this round as barriers about to go up. You can already see that ult economy not really going to be a saving grace for Fnatic, and if anything, it just serves as a bigger safety net for FPX to work around. Having that Viper's Pit on attack, that can swing rounds in your favor completely if anything does get a little bit dicey. Although in this round, you know, you'd be up against a judge and a bookie, so probably better not to use it.
This is the same play we've seen from FPX already. Just try and avoid Hookah almost altogether. Make that play through long. This is a hard read on what we've seen previously from the side of Fnatic, and they know they're in there. They're just going to throw every single piece of utility they can to try and force them back. Viper's Pit even committed here, which actually could help out Fnatic with the weaponry they have.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was saying, get those pistols up close, get those shotguns in. But they need to get those shotguns in. And as I look, it's Enzo and Durka, the players with pistols coming in from spawn. Those shotguns are inside Hookah right now. And that makes this very difficult to blitz back out, to fight for that control. You see on the way, they're just going to be sprayed down. Taken, what? That was from miles away. A kill with a judge, but it's still not going to get them the round win. How much more damage can they walk out with is the question. Ooh, great shot from Enzo. 3 kills. It's decent. It's decent, but this is where the work has to be done.
Yeah, the fact is, it doesn't do anything to FPX's economy. No. Like, okay, if they win this round, the next one might be a little bit more dicey, but ultimately they have the reserves. Again, they've won 4 rounds in a row, but this time, it's been a little cleaner. I wouldn't call it clean, but it's been a little cleaner. Ultimates built up for either side. You've got that null command, orbital strike, and on the other side, a few available as well in terms of that site taken. I feel like the Seeker's combination alongside Nightfall could be huge. But the fact is, they really need to find something in this round, otherwise we are heading to Fracture.
Yeah, we absolutely do need to see Fnatic step it up. Now, we've had immediate control going to FPX over towards Bath, but re-aggression from Fnatic. They're on the corner, ready to fight. Good kill for Durka, and an aid to go through a little bit deeper, but the team wasn't there. And that's a direct read on Fnatic, or a direct setup to counter how good the spacing has been from FPX so far.
They have just walked all the way down. They already have a man advantage. They don't even really need to be this audacious. But they're looking to try and catch them if they rotate back through. The only problem here will be Zipan, because he's already managed to bypass them, but it might even sell them a bit of a false positive. Somehow, though, Mystic doesn't win the duel, and the timing could be worse. It was an advantage for Fnatic just moments ago, but they almost overplayed their hand. They walk back into FPX, and well, now the site is theirs once again.
They didn't know how close Zipan was, but now they do. Durka trying to hold strong. Enzo coming to help. I mean, still on the A site for now. Durka's completely alone for the next couple of seconds and wants to avoid a fight. That gets them a plant. Now coming back into it. His teammate just behind him. Enzo with a reveal ready to pop through. Still got 2 Prowlers. So they have a ton of initiation on this.
One kill and a showstopper. Nightfall available if they can get into position, but it's utilized by the other side. Durka already managing to find one. He needs a little more, but Enzo may have already done the work for him. It's left up to Xiao, and there is that showstopper. That round looked done, but Fnatic fight back through with Durka leading the charge once again. And well, Mitch, that is that lifeline found.
It's Durka time. That's damn right. An impressive one to keep Fnatic's heart beating in this. And retake that definitely did look done. Durka being able to slip out, you know, they gave him the space, and I don't mind that, especially with the ultis online, but it's this fight there that you couldn't account for. Him getting that duel, surviving till later, showstopper online, and he's able to take it. It looks like he's trying to take flight. And you know what? They could do that with a flying start in this half. They've been down 4-0 to start this one out, but finally they've got around on their defense.
That's the thing. He was the one deafened and blinded, but you would almost think it was the players on the other side in the way that he made that move. 5 rounds of difference. Still an incredibly long route back, and more of a slip-up from FPX than anything. I don't think it's going to rattle them just yet, but a few more rounds like that, and maybe, just maybe, Fnatic can slip back through.
Well, that's not going to pull anyone in towards Hookah. Alphair certainly not content with giving up the control. Snakebite for Prowler trade almost going through. Trailblazer down B, long sees nothing. This early information out of Fnatic, they're not landing too much, not seeing too much, and it keeps them with a 3-stack on A. You know, these players on B don't feel over-pressured at the moment, so their setup's going to just stay. Pump the brakes, wait for FPX to make a move. That's a dangerous game, though, especially with the utility online for FPX. There's the orbital strike being lined up, ready to go. It does look like Durka's, you know, quite far back, though. He's ready for something like that. No one's playing inside lamps to get
Well, that's the adaptation. Even still, though, it does give them that ability to clear straight through, though, already. It's going to be one pump. Zipan's actually died to the utility of Angel. That's definitely more of a problem, but even still, though, they are waiting. Try and catch this Sagetsu, though, with the wide swing has already taken out Durka. They are going to get Ardis back up, but the rotation has come through. Nice shot from Alpha. In fact, the second alongside it. Enzo with one more, and they completely fall apart.
Well, if Fnatic are going to get back into this game, that is the kind of gameplay you're looking for. Under pressure, but they keep calm and composed. Walk out with the round win because of it. Some incredible shots hit by Alphayer. Has just been on fire in some of these rounds, and that's going to get him a Viper's Pit to play with coming into this round. 11-7, and that lead for FPX, you know, I'm starting to get a little bit of deja vu to the previous map because it's not looking as strong, and now they're forced to an eco where the gap should close even further.
Well, that's the thing. Fnatic have proven that at no point are they out. And again, that's back-to-back rounds now where FPX have been in a position of strength and something has faded away. Althea with a double kill, Durka with a 4K. They have those big game players, and well, they're starting to show up.
Sagetsu should be the man to watch with a rifle, but look at that damage. A great connection on Alphayer, who now has to burn up the heals of Mystic just to get back up to full health. His shield's gone from the round. It's a great start with some Sheriffs to be able to apply that level of pressure. But now that these players have fallen back and given up some of those closer angles, it again becomes quite a difficult round for them. They have got this wall up, though. And the wall on the A side from Viper, I mean, if Sagetsu puts the wall up, they instantly lose control over lamps and so much of this site. You're not going to play beside the wall, obviously, because close range against pistols, you're asking for it.
Time starting to tick, but it's a slow walk up. They don't actually get caught, but the thing is, it does actually use up the utility. Angel now gets rid of Durka, but Althea again is going to catch out Zipan. That's on the other side of the map. Sagetsu still with a rifle in hand, and Enzo under pressure, trying to do what damage he can. The C's going to delay them. In fact, they're delayed again by the gravity well. But then again, Sagetsu just swings through and finds a kill.
Sagetsu's in trouble, though. 1 HP in the open. That decay hitting him hard. Oh, no, he still wins it! A beautiful shot to Enzo. A spike planted, and FPX have hit 12. This was an unlikely round, Tom, but again, they've gotten it done.
I don't know how that's the one they win. Angel with a high-impact shot to get rid of Durka, who has definitely been one of the danger men. But the fact is, it was more just them being caught by every single piece of utility and then still winning the duels. I've never seen a player as confident as Sagetsu when he has 1 HP. Like, the amount of times we've seen these same sort of peaks out from him, 12-7. Again, the difference made to 5 rounds, and FPX are 1 away from taking us to that 3rd and final map.
5 rounds in a row needed for Fnatic. You know, I know there's at least some FPX fans out there. I saw a jersey earlier on. Just the one.
Who was wearing it?
Well, we'll see if the camera can find it.
Okay, early trade. Now you might think, okay, Durka gone from the round is not ideal, but with the weaponry that's in play for Fnatic, that's not a bad start. They also have a pretty strong setup in towards Hookah. They have a player actually baiting, shooting out that boombot to make sure that they're not going to clear, or at least hope they're not going to clear Alpha. But that info will now be there for them.
Alpha gives it up. FPX, they've avoided this control over Hookah quite a bit. The heavy preference for long, and this works out for massive value here. Oh, that's dangerous, Alpha! I don't know how he didn't get that kill. I mean, he shot it off, but Zipan only got caught in the ankles.
Yeah, it's not going to work out. Instead, Zipan now goes pushing the man who survived. What? How does Enzo land these shots through the wall? It makes absolutely no sense. And he might have just given them a lifeline. He's bought time for the flank as well. Oster slowly making his way through. Enzo, in the meantime, is going to go swinging back in, but Angels won another duel. He's been fantastic on this map so far. And once again on Bind, they call upon this man, and this time, it's not happening. To be a classic, it has to go to all 3 maps, and that's exactly where FPX will take us.
Well-deserved, strong fight from them on Bind. They don't let it slip like they did previously. Again, it's Sagetsu that is the standout performer by a country mile. This guy has just been on fire since he came into this tournament, making up for the games that he missed.
What I want to point out as well, this is something we've always talked about when we talk about Angel, is the way that he finds opening doors for this squad. He has the most. Other than, I think it was Durka, who is playing a completely different role, far more aggressive. I think it was by 1. And that's the thing with Angel. When he has those big game moments, when he has those sort of impactful plays, he's just superb. And that's what we saw within this map. This wasn't just one player going crazy. Okay, Sagetsu's at the top, but every single member of FPX came in swinging and has taken them through to that 3rd and final map. And that's where we head to Fracture, which in all honesty, they have looked fantastic on in this tournament, absolutely destroying DRX in it earlier.
Yeah, I mean, look, that resets your confidence completely if you're FPX. Moving into this now, guaranteeing that 3rd map and finding a very nice-looking face on that map. I think they presented a pretty strong play, but I have the question, what if Sagetsu doesn't turn up? That doesn't seem to even be a possibility at this point.
No, that is not a question. And in fact, I'm not even going to throw that one over to the desk. Instead, we're going to head off to a break, and then they will be breaking this one down.
it throws me back to FPX against Xerxia on this map, and even the guild one as well. I mean, that was nice.
Yeah, the guys are just playing a standard game of Valorant, I think, as well. FPX, they've got clear ideas of how they want to play with map control, important areas to control as well when they're on their playing on their defense, and even on their attack side. I think they're just clean, well drilled, and it's been difficult, I think, for Fnatic to find openings without it being off the back of big kills from Durka, big clutch moments, big individual moments. That was really missing, I think, from Fnatic in this map, was trying to find that discipline and that kind of understanding of how to play the map really well, which I come to expect from Fnatic. I really do think of them as one of the best buying teams in the world.
Yep.
But something is missing right now on the big stage for them, and FPX were able to capitalize.
I love the fact that FPX brought back that whole split. We're trading off of each other really well. That really elevated their ability to be able to have the numbers in advantage or just keep it clean throughout the round. They didn't let themselves get overwhelmed a lot of the time. And in those rounds, especially when we're thinking about the first half with retakes, it's like, I think FPX played probably just a pretty standard and fundamental game of Valorant. And Fnatic, I think at times they tried to overplay their hand.
I also think it's just the great preparation on the side of Angel and Doombros. They clearly watched, they had a lot of rounds to watch on that Leviathan game, and they've clearly used that prep to come into this. And speaking of Angel, coming into this tournament, we had really high hopes on what he could do with this team. Yeah. I guess before Sugetsu came into this, he kind of underperformed statistically.
Sure.
But today, he's been hitting every shot.
The great thing is that when your IGL not only is calling appropriately, but also popping off, that's when you can really sit beside your leader of the group and go, I know what you're doing. You're also achieving your goal of holding these positions on the map, and I can listen to your calls and trust in them. Angel is one of those leaders. He's the oldest player in this entire tournament, and he kept head-to-head with Durka on this map. The 4 engagements that they had in opening kills, he got 2, Durka got the other 2. It's hard to diff a man who is known for diffing everyone else.
I mean, the guy is just having an outlandish performance, isn't he? The past 2 series, I think, in fact, as well. It reminds me of a bit of like an unfit bloke in a marathon. And he started up, he's jogging. I mean, he's falling behind everybody else. But at the final stretch of this tournament, he has actually put up the numbers. Like, he was far on the inting scale early. Don't get me wrong. He was inting hard. But he has stepped it up where it matters most right here in this elimination match as they're heading into this lower finals, potentially.
I mean, as Angel has said in the past, he IGLs best when he's dead. So, his words, not mine. His words, not mine. He played.
So it's just intentional. He just played the CCTV role.
He played Phoenix once on Haven, and it wasn't the greatest. But he was like, "Hey, I can IGL better when I'm dead." So, I mean, I think it makes sense. But moving on to map 3, this is Fracture. Traditionally, Fnatic, they've looked great on Fracture, but recently in this tournament, especially after that DRX game, FPX look amazing.
One little blip, and that's at the very beginning against DRX. They got their revenge, and I'm glad that they did, because it proved to us it wasn't necessarily going to be that kind of loss that they can take and they just repeat. I don't know how I feel about FPX on this map, considering how many iterations we've had of FPX. How many times are they going to remake themselves, re-identify themselves on this map? Have they found what the answer is now after that DRX match?
They've definitely been swapping around their comps a lot as well, because they've been playing, Sugetsu just plays everything for his team. He went from playing the Raze, sorry, not the Raze, the Sage, and also going back to the Viper and everything else. And they've kind of leaning into that double controller style as well. But the overarching narrative so far over the course of this series for me is that Fnatic just haven't been playing as clean as a game that I'm used to. When I'm coming into this tournament, I'm doing my preparation on them. I'm expecting them to be incredibly well drilled, really, really clean in terms of the trades and their overall strategies and stuff. And so far, the only ins they've been able to find in the last 2 series has been these big, overwhelming moments from star players like Enzo and Durka. And it's just, I don't think it's going to be enough to overcome a team like FPX when they are coming into this one really disciplined, really drilled. Great ideas of how they want to play their compositions as well. It's a tall order for them now heading into map 3.
I would have said before this series, and I did say that I thought Fnatic would have that edge, that competitive edge, that experience edge. Everything sort of led me towards Fnatic. Map number 3, after them having learned, or what I thought was learning their lesson on Bind against Leviathan, I thought they also would, learn their lesson against Leviathan on this map as well. Yeah. I don't know if I can really trust in that the same way that I thought they could on Bind. It was not good enough on Bind, and as a result, this is where we stand. We're standing, all of the analysts, I'm not sure about you, Yinsu, but we're turning around and we're saying, look, FPX is probably going to win this series if they keep this up.
Yeah, they look like the better team, especially on Bind. Again, we speak about the big players that have to step up on the side of Fnatic. Enzo, he's been stepping up today. We actually got a chance to speak to him a little bit earlier, and here is what he had to say.
I was actually quite calm, just focusing on what I have to do. So I was just ready today. I was just ready for this game. During the clutch, I played out of instinct, really. Wasn't thinking about anything specific. It's going to take a lot of work. We have to work on some specific aspects of the game, small details that, you know, we need to improve on. And if we do that properly, we are going to win. Boaster is an incredible IGL. It's great to work with him. It's like he's making everything clear at all times. And I am feeding Boaster with information and ideas to help him take the best decisions during the game.
But how can he do it with just the operator? The double swing. Enzo! You can't be doing this, son. A 1v2, swaps the weaponry around, the players are low, a single bullet on either of them, it might be enough, it could be enough. The horn dropped, positioning gained. And now that the fuse stuck down to half, he knows where the opposition is, he's sticking it! What an insane play from Enzo! Ice cold!
Every time we met each other again against FPX, they brought something new, they brought some new ideas, and we were able to adapt on the fly. So if we can keep doing that, I believe we will win.
Well, Enzo talking about needing to step up with his raw instinct there. I think they're going to need all of that for the next map after what happened on Bone.
I mean, he's been having a good series, I think, as well. Enzo has been one of the players who has been keeping him in it with just the setup, the utility, the clutch moments. He's carried that form forwards. It's just the overall, I think, macro idea of what Fnatic need to be doing in these maps when it comes to what areas to control, what their game plan should be, has been just lacking and falling one step behind FPX. Now, God, if there was ever a time to turn around, it would be now on Fracture, because it's a map where I think Fnatic have been in the past really good at. They have great ideas. The composition that they like to play is incredibly strong at post plans in terms of utility and things like that. But also FPX have also kind of altered, most recently over the course of this tournament, their own composition by playing their own double controllers. I mean, we're going to see here if they ended up swapping things up, but I think, again, we might just be seeing the teams playing the same stuff.
Yeah, we're into the Prime Gaming Agent select here. Again, I'm not expecting any changes, but what I will say is I'm fed up with Fnatic losing the first 4 rounds on every side. Like, they need to cut that out, because if they do that here, that's 8 rounds they're giving away every map. They're going to be losing.
Yeah, the first quarter seems to be a bit of a kryptonite there for the side of Fnatic, but one thing I want to say is while we have this Prime Gaming Agent select up, is that on the side of FPX, all of those agents are strong, almost one of their best agents for every single player on the roster, outside of Sugetsu, who's had a huge play on Cypher, for example. Everyone's on super strong agents.
Yeah, I think they are in, honestly, a bit of a comfort position for them on either side. And I really do just want to see a bit of a step up from Fnatic. They're one of my favorites coming into the tournaments for the entirety of the thing. And right now it feels like FPX are just the more disciplined team. They've got the better ideas coming into us. Maybe this is a bit of the prep difference, honestly. The fact that they have had a bit of time to come into this match as well. I mean, it's been the case on either side, I suppose. But these guys have clearly come into this one. They've had a bit of extra time with Sugetsu, and it's paying dividends.
I mean, we've spoken about this already. They played against each other many, many times. None of that matters. What matters, Tom and Mitch, is what happens on this map.
Well, let's not waste any more time then. Let's get right onto this final map of Fracture. 2 teams enter, and one's going home after this. FPX and Fnatic. And it's an FPX defense to start, Tom. How are we feeling about that? This is a team we've seen put up those attacking numbers, but here on Fracture, I feel like everything is different.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it comes down to, firstly, this aggression out from Artis, but also just, again, those sight holds from Sugetsu. The man has been a monster throughout this series, and speaking of that aggression, he's going wandering.
That he is already getting a little bit aggressive, and we can see that the rotations are coming through from FPX towards the B site, having Artis so aggressively pushed up. But over on the other side of Fnatic, well, they are waiting as well, hoping that someone on FPX makes that push. It's going to be a game of chicken. Who moves first? And it's Fnatic on towards the B site, shifting their way over. Zero movement from FPX. It's impressive to maintain this patience, but once this wall goes up, that's when you start to see them get a little bit antsy, because no one's actually towards this B site. No one's on it, and that wall's locking the whole team out.
You can see the lurk on the other side just waiting in case there's any defensive aggression on that side, but instead it will just be that later push in towards B. That tower's position taken, and I'll be honest, Mitch, it almost looks like this is a full retake setup being thrown in by FPX.
I think that's exactly what this is. FPX were aware that Fnatic like to use a lot of utility in clearing out some of these angles, so they're more than ready to let them in, let them plant, and then punish with some utility of their own. A fantastic answer back, but They still have to root these players out of the positions they've got now. Arcade completely lost Heaven. Oh no, that boombot's just gone off. Dirk is left on a sliver of health, and Zipman's able to take it.
Yeah, already turning things back into what is a tough position, but bear in mind this has already been half. They're just going to stick it all of the way, and nobody is going to swing out in time from Fnatic. FPX are going to kick things off with a pistol round. And once again, it was mentioned on the desk that Fnatic can't allow for these early starts to go FPX's way, but it has happened again.
That it has. Another pistol, another little injection of rounds, and we know FPX's second rounds are usually pretty strong. Normally you see a lot of rifles in there. They are going to play with bulldogs, well, still the rifles technically. They're not quite having the same strengths that they have in the past. Over on the Fnatic side, the classic round, couple of upgraded pistols. Look, you get a lot of opportunities on a map like this, attack side, even if it just comes down to playing for the orbs and grabbing that little bit of ult economy coming into future rounds. I really feel like on this map in particular, there never is just a write-off.
Well, we've been lucky so far this series, but a dreaded thing has appeared on our screen, so it looks like we're going to need a little bit of a moment to try and get things fixed. But the fact is, you're right, especially going into a round like this, Fnatic have more opportunities on this map than any other, because most of the time you're either going to have to get a little bit aggressive or play in that retake, as we've already seen from FPX. So the likelihood is they might be able to catch someone, for example an Artist, being a little bit cheeky around the outskirts of the map, and if they can do that, well, there's a bulldog, there's something extra to gravitate into their hands. So I'm expecting that although this should be relatively clean from FPX, it could get a little dicey.
We saw the classic rounds before. Let's see it again. I mean, not going to get my hopes up for Fnatic on this one, but there's always a chance for some damage, especially when a man like Durka has a one-shot headshot weapon roaming around the map. We saw previous rounds stun up into Heaven and a nade to follow. Didn't find anything. This time, though, Tom, there is a target standing right there, but a clean pick by Artis cancels any possibility of that.
But they even put a smoke there. It's just way too late. Maybe trying to sneak through with a little bit of ground. Boaster still managing to win that duel with just the classic. We spoke about the danger of the weaponry, but they don't clear Saigetsu from this spot. An easy cleanup for the Viper, and well, Durka now left. He's managed to get into a position they wouldn't necessarily suspect, but Saigetsu is there in the end.
This guy, even just seeing some of the swings he's going for, his aim is on point. He's been hitting up the aim training in his off time. I suppose 5-0, starting things out. There's another stat for us. Fnatic have a 4-0 record when facing the third map in a BO3 series in Stage 2 FPX. Well, they make it to that third map a little bit more often. They don't face the same level of success.
But the other thing as well is that just on this map alone, facing each other, Fnatic have had a pretty good record. Like the first time around, I think it was a 13-3, a 13-9 last time. So I guess FPX are bringing it closer. The thing is, though, when it comes to, at least on LAN, between these two teams, or even just looking at them isolated, I would say that FPX have definitely come leaps and bounds, especially when Saigetsu's in the team. This round, though, normally, it'd be a bit weaker, but again, we see this coming out of the side of FPX. They have some decent weapons here.
FPX have pushed all the way up north side. They've got the control on top of the map and an early flank on the way. Nothing to stop them there, nothing to spot them. They found the one gap in this push out of Fnatic, the one area that they're really vulnerable to. And you see the players on site, they're popping down utility, they're trying to delay them so the flank can come through, so it can finally have that impact. Artis, though, well, he actually just jumped ahead of the flank. He's ran through by himself. Up into Heaven he goes, now has Angel right behind him, and they're gonna have a paranoia that has caught him, so.
Yeah, that's given the information at least. Alfia goes for the swing, but he runs out of bullets into a 3v3. Another goes the way of FPX. These starts have never gone the way of Fnatic throughout this series, and it won't happen again. FPX with a fast flank, locking them into the site. And Mitch, they come out with 3 players alive.
Yeah, this is not only a round win on the bonus, but a convincing one. Those 3 players carrying forward weapons into the next, so credits are going to start rolling and flying really high. Over on the Fnatic side, they're in trouble. Look, there were some mistakes there from FPX that didn't necessarily get punished to the extent I expected, but some of these picks coming down, they're getting the confidence rolling for FPX, the early lead, and now an eco. this next buy round better be solid from them. And they've called a timeout knowing the importance of it.
I think this is an opportunity for Fnatic to farm up some orbs, try and get themselves into a spot where their next buy round is going to have a lot. Like, you've got the Brimstone on your side. That's a huge ult for at least clearing out positions. Not that far away from Enzo's Viper's Pit. And that's the thing, Midge. We know that on this defensive side, Fnatic are pretty decent. Like, Enzo's holds have been fantastic from what we've seen. Durka is allowed to be a little bit freer, and that almost double duelist on their side, which, okay, is replicated on the other, can be fearsome. So for Fnatic here, I think a lot of it comes down to just making sure you have enough rounds, enough of a buffer that your defense can shine.
10 seconds left to figure all that out for Fnatic, and they'll be diving into this. Again, a round where a lot of the time it comes down to building up those orbs and gathering information, figuring out if those things you looked into before the map, those tendencies, if they're still being held, and also getting a feel for how FPX are playing this. Now, we saw last round was a north side, not crunch, just straight push out of them. 2 players going up through Dish and taking that aggression. This time around, we could be seeing something similar.
Yeah, the thing is, though, Fnatic look a little bit more aware. In fact, they've got a couple of players ready and set up. Now, I'd be surprised if we see exactly the same thing out of FPX, but the thing is, with the weaker weapons, they're more than willing to try and challenge for this.
What's the idea here? Reveal goes up and over, sees nothing. They've already got the smoke at the start of the round, so they don't take the space. I mean, the thing about the smoke is it gives you a safe haven from that reveal. So those players were sitting just outside it, but they've been spooked, right? They saw the utility go down. They're probably expecting that there's a crossfire setup or something. Maybe that's the idea from FPX. You fake out, you've taken control, and just buy more time.
That's the thing. They have done it in the last round. They pushed it completely. So in this round, they use their utility to sell the idea that they're there again. And you can just see how tentative Fnatic are being in actually taking back this control. Now, they have left at least Durka on the other side of the map for any re-aggression, but they'll now finally take the control they wanted initially, but ultimately a minute's gone off the clock.
Yeah, and they've got to be so cautious in clearing this. They use their boom bot and everything. Like, it's about that cost and the extra little bit of pressure it puts onto the Fnatic mentality. Now, as they blitz out, though, they are facing a weaker side. It's outside pressure around that the double doors, and so they'll actually get in. Whether they plant or not, though, is up for question. That's a risky plant from Alpha, and he will just about fail. And there must have been a pixel left on that, but the bullet landed.
It's
and Fnatic have to run back in.
That's the thing, yeah. The whole plan was to basically try and look for these afterplants, try and sit back, use the snake bites, use the Molotov, use the aftershock. They have everything ready to put that utility down. The problem is now actually utilizing it just to get back into the site is the bigger issue. The spam through from Xiao is sublime, a nice shot from Mystic. But the thing is, they haven't been able to get that plant, and no matter what they do from here. Yeah, the fact is he almost needs to go down, and it isn't going to be happening. He will get his ult from that plant, though.
Oh, he's probably wishing they hit that shot. Well, look, at least grabbing the plant is something. Having yourself the orbital strike and moving in this with still a little bit of cash to play with. Disappointing, though. Look how close. Oh, all right.
30 seconds left.
I mean, that was full. That's a pixel. Can we zoom? Is there like
I don't even think that was. It looked like it was over the line.
Yeah. 102% planted, but not enough. Unlucky. 4-0 anyways, FPX. They claim that round. Now the full buy of Fnatic on the table, on the cards. Boaster, as we said, has an ult, and Alpha here already is an opening.
Well, yeah, we spoke about the aggression of Artis. The fact he's going to pressure the map. The fact is, Fnatic have read into that. An easy early kill. Those 4 rounds have gone, Mitch, and well, now, this is the chance for Fnatic to rise.
Absolutely. And Fnatic, they need some picks here. A big play out of FPX. A double push, and it yields an advantage. They pulled it back into this 3v3 on the defense, though. That still means that they're pretty scattered. Utility herd put down. Durka about to go for a fight. He's baiting them into firing immediately, but no one's found the kills. Up in the air, Alpha here hasn't got a chance. And it's only the showstopper to find any sort of space towards that site. Any hope for this team. 5-0 we go. And that again puts Fnatic's economy in the bin.
5-0 down. This looked like the round to do it, but this re-aggression once again coming out from FPX. They are not letting Fnatic breathe even for a second. They want to get into these afterplants. It is where they shine on this attacking side, but they have been denied time and time again. Xiao with such a high impact double kill as well. And now we're going to see a small investment. Now bear in mind, Durka is 1 away from getting that tour de force.
Don't you dare.
Oh, it is. Oh, they're going to fade away. Whoa, he doesn't need the orb anymore. He's also spotted where the player put down that Viper's Pit.
He's got an ult. He's looking up into heaven where that TP is just being completed. He heard it. They know that Angel's here. They won't stand a chance up against the op that Durka recovered. Already good for 2. And a ton of control here. Sagetsu is going to try to sneak his way around this pit. And sure, he's dropped it! A brave play, and it nets a kill.
Problem is they've got to get past Durka. He hasn't had the highest of impact so far. Oh, it gets a little dicey. But it will be Boaster to have his back. Now left on to Xiao. First goes his way. He's been sublime so far in this map, this tournament, but there's still 2 more to go. First goes, and he's going to land a shot! Ridiculous from Xiao once again! I can't believe he's pulled it off once more.
That is utterly ridiculous. A Red Bull clutch for Xiao, a 6th round, and a complete shutout for Fnatic. This is unprecedented.
The first one I can understand. Catches Boaster off guard, Durka then in the open, but that's the one that surprised me. Althea just unable to connect when he was needed most. And well, you can see the head on hands. I think that's how the Fnatic players must be feeling right now, because that was their round to lose.
This is facing elimination, Tom. 6-0 down on the final map. There's nowhere else to make that comeback happen. A full buy on the attack. Plenty of ultimates to play with. If there's any round for Fnatic, it's got to be this one. The orbital strike used, and it's only going to get them some space. A little bit of damage on the back of it, but look at FPX. They have brought all the cavalry here. 4 players stacked up and ready to go, and Fnatic haven't even made it out of main as they try to. They're losing players. Sagetsu does get traded, though. This is a good face to Fnatic, but they don't know how many players are still waiting on the site for them. That Rolling Thunder might buy them the space. The Showstopper doesn't land. The nade down buys even more time, and now the Rolling Thunder's reset. It's not in play anymore.
The thing is, they've almost traded out those ults, maybe expecting that there will have been a rotation, but the thing is, Fnatic have now spotted utility on this A side from multiple players. They've set up as a firing squad, and Zipan is left alone to try and defend. The Aftershock forcing him into an angle, and while Durka hasn't stopped connecting shots from the last round, it's Ardis to try and recreate what was there from Xiao, and finally, Fnatic are on the board.
Welcome to the scoreboard, Fnatic. A first round at long last. FPX being able to close rounds out convincingly to start. Couple of clutches along the way, but finally a sign of life out of that attack. But look, it doesn't end there. FPX bounce right back in. They've got to buy. They've got ultis to play around. Fnatic do too. And the fight might finally be on. The crowd giving Fnatic their energy. Whether that's going to be enough or not, yet to be decided. It looks like there might be an idea of a faster play here, Tom. Maybe feeling that energy here and translating it. We're going to have an A contest right away. Alpha wins it, but Xiao comes back. He's got 3. Nobody steps foot in A main without this man's permission. And Fnatic, they looked good in the previous round. They started this one out well, but Tom, they have been shut down.
I can't believe what he's pulling off, a 1v3 into a triple spray down. Such a fantastic setup, an opener that takes down Angel, but just getting past Xiao, he's been an immovable object. And now Enzo left. They know where he is. They're starting to lock him in. He's on the corner, he can only spray down 1. And again, the trading is sublime. FPX make it 7-1. And well, they need to break back immediately. There has to be something in the tank for Fnatic.
There's got to be. They've got some ultimates to work with, Tom, and well, FPX don't anymore.
Unbelievable.
The fact that he gets away with 2 is ridiculous. That third being Durka swinging, the flash timing slightly off, some mistakes. The pressure on, and maybe it's getting to Fnatic. Maybe it's too much for them. 7-1 down. As you said, Tom, it's now or never, really. They've got to show up. We need to see something from them here and now, and their economy, it's actually on the rocks.
Well, the crazy thing as well is the players that we almost assumed would be missing within this tournament are the ones that are shining right now for FPX. Xiao, he basically got them through that group stage. Yeah. I did like the fact that he gave that opportunity to Sagetsu to be here, and now both of them 11-3, 9-3, support, basically performing to the top of their ability. Now what's going to come up here for Fnatic? A rifle, likely on Alpha, maybe one for Enzo as well, but I'm looking at that tour de force. Durka has had impact over these last few rounds, but they need it. They can't go into this half allowing like 8, 9, 10 rounds for FPX. There just isn't a road back from that.
It's that man on your screens that we're going to see with the tour de force most likely. He's got extra cash dropping to his teammate using his ult. Durka's had a couple of quieter rounds, but still leading the charge over on that Fnatic side. And we need to see a whole bunch of step-ups coming through right now. FPX well and truly in control. As we said, things can play out a bit differently here on Fracture. It's certainly not like any of the other maps in the pool. Together. This defensive side out of FPX needs to be stopped. This might not be the round to do it. Pistols in play. But the tour de force, as you said, that's the bridge between them, and it's got to be the one that finds some success.
Around this B ramp hasn't really been challenged massively thus far, and instead the operator for FPX is going to be on the other side of the map. Dish control being garnered, and in fact it's a wide net being thrown out by Fnatic, and again we're going to see the start of a push from FPX.
So FPX have smoked the south side of B. They've started to push up on north, and players rotated around. For a moment, Boaster made noise. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. It might all be a bait to get these players a bit more comfortable that it's an A play and give the opportunity to Durka to pick off a few. That said, it's not working out because they've just pushed straight through north. They haven't come back. They haven't tried to rotate. Now, though, there is a rotation. Unfortunately, Durka's again blocked off.
Oh, they might actually meet the spike. That's the real danger here. Mystic is just with a pistol in hand as he's about to go facing in. He does manage to land the shot. Do they expect Angel? It's always been a double peek every single time the trades are good. They're going to catch that flank out. And now it comes down to Zagetsu again. As the push is through, he lands that first shot. But there is still a second player there. Even still, though, he's used his utility to just hold them back that little bit further. And now the rotations come in from Xiao.
15 seconds. They've got to go quick. And quick they will. Alpha's already in. Can he get the plant down? No, right up behind the box. They might have utility to push him out. I don't think so. They don't have an angle, and so inside the pit it's planted. And the showstopper's cancelled. Xiao gets up in their face and leaves Enzo to do this alone. He's avoided the Prowler, and now he'll step back into the ult, or at least step around it. Trying to get a decent position to catch them off, but they're being so cautious, Tom. Stepping into this ult, knowing he could be anywhere. There's one for him, a snake bite down. He's jumping up above and behind them. Enzo has clutched it out again and kept Fnatic alive.
They needed a hero. They have been needing a hero throughout the entirety of this first half. And again, we've seen this man in so many situations that have saved Fnatic from ultimate demise. They could have been out of this tournament to Leviathan already if it wasn't for that man right there. And while when it mattered most, Enzo comes up huge. This puts FPX on the back foot in terms of economy. Still though, Fnatic needs some momentum. That hasn't been enough to pump them up just yet.
Yeah, some fantastic movement and decision making in that one, but yeah, look, it's 2 rounds. It's not enough at that point, but finally we start to see some benefit from the damage being done out of Fnatic. FPX have 2 pistols here to play with, but this operator on Artis, it's certainly not something to be taken lightly coming into this round. But no up on the other side, you know, countering it out is going to be a very tough. Artis has been clinical with some of the shots he's been hitting across this tournament. I think he's had like 1, maybe 2 bad maps along the way, but for the most part, he has been like the most consistent and strong duelist for me.
No, he's been up there, no doubt about that. They are going to build in to the other side. Now, Artis has an opportunity to almost swing back round if the timing is right. He's got Angel in to support, and the Paranoia is just going to be used for delay. This gives him an opportunity to get back into position as Fnatic look to make their move. In fact, they might even just go through the smoke, and Artis has caught that initial fight. Trade instantaneous, though.
And now, but he's counted out. You know, quick TP back out of Durka, okay. Finds a kill, bails. But for Artis, yeah, like, you've got this op now. How are you going to be able to find impact? Well, hope your teammates can rotate in and help. But this time around, that's not a possibility. Good connection onto Durka at least, but they need to pick up the pace towards this site. And for a moment, I believed in that shot landing. The nade dead on Xiao's feet. And no 1v3 for him this time around. Fnatic have picked up another round. It's not over yet. They can push this up to 5 at the half.
Yeah, and that would be lucky almost. I think that's the only word I could use. Like, the fact is FPX deserve to dominate this first half. They have been superb throughout this initial stage, but we're starting to see some of those individual plays. We're starting to see those fightbacks, those superstars, and well, Alfie are making those little moves through the backlines. And you can see FPX, even with this much of a lead, they're going to take a pause here, Mitch.
And it makes sense. Next round, they don't have a lot to play with. Again, comes down to ult gathering and setting yourself up for that final round, where you're going to put everything on the line and try to claim an A. The potential in a round like this always going to be pretty high as well. And over on FPX, you know, they've got some time to think about this. I think defensive side, there's some really nasty setups that they could have up their sleeves.
The thing is as well, they've got a lot of ults that are very, very close. And this is a map where they can easily fight for a specific orb. So, for example, Artist getting him onto that tour de force could easily be a difference maker. Zipan only a couple away from the showstopper. And then you've also got the fact that you can use that Nightfall to basically delay and also help you in the retake. So, although in terms of finances, it kind of sucks, it's not going to be pretty, there's still opportunities here for FPX.
Well, yeah, I mean, it comes down to if Artis even just grabs his ult in this round, it's massive. If he had a bit more cash on him, he might even go for a force buy, just knowing that he'd have Tour de Force next round. So there's certainly a ton of dangers and red flags here for Fnatic to consider. But ultimately, you can't let that get too much in the way of your own play, you know? And it looks like they're, at least off the bat, going for a pretty grouped up approach. The only man alone is Durka towards that north side, looking to catch some early fights. He meets lots of utility along the way.
I'm pretty sure Artis has already got an orb straight into A main, not challenged for initially by Fnatic, so that's already there. But because they've heard the tour de force, they know he's not there. Saigetsu though, he's already found Durka. A huge start to this round already. Now space being taken, there's a judge in position though. Xiao is already going to find another. This is starting to fall apart again for Fnatic. It was a round that looked like it should have been theirs. We worried about the tour de force. It hasn't even made its face yet.
It hasn't needed to. Mystic will pick up a frag, but some of these players recovering weapons. It's Saigetsu with a rifle in his hand, and we've seen what this man can do. A thrifty win for FPX. I thought that timeout might have been for the next round, but they've won it right here and now. Looking for a 9th, and such a convincing half already. I did see an Odin in Saigetsu's hand. I don't know if he's going to follow through on that, but no, I would love to see it.
No, and again, just the individual skill of these two players, there's nothing you can really do when they're in this sort of form. And okay, the Tour de Force does close it out, but the finances now really swing into that favor once again of FPX. A chance for a 9-3 half, and although there's many, I'm sure, that will call that the curse, I don't think they're going to feel that way.
Yeah, I don't think Fnatic are going to be sat there happy about it for sure. I mean, you're facing down the barrel of elimination, as we said. The performance has just been stellar on that FPX side. Saigetsu, again, the clear standout man for FPX. But everyone's had their moments this far. Final round of the half playing out with Artis getting aggressive, and Durka's been waiting for him 30, 40 seconds now. Eventually, though, they'll go in, swinging into each other, and it's Artis to win that duel. Another successful opening for this duelist as FPX step closer to their 9th. They've got the man advantage, and Fnatic have some weaknesses to play with as well.
Yeah, look at the rotation from FPX. At least for now, the read is spot on. They have a firing squad watching in both directions. A showstopper for Zipan, which could almost end this round in its tracks. Mystic now just going to have to use his ult just to try and clear that control. The rest of the team barreling straight through, but Zipan has caught one at least. Xiao is there again. And while now the remaining players are just held back, Saigetsu's position hasn't even been revealed, Mitch.
It's ridiculous. The showstopper was waited out, and when they do make a move forward, there's almost no way they can expect him. Good for a kill, dropping the spike. By the looks of it, locking in a 9th round for FPX at the half. Enzo against the world. 4 players to take down. He hasn't even got the spike, and he's got 10 seconds to get it planted. I think we can safely say this one is done. 9-3 at the half. FPX, they were looking to be in some trouble after map number 1, but they have had a commanding lead ever since we got onto Bayern.
Yeah, it seems like since Bayern, Fnatic really haven't been, well, in that same sort of form. Xiao and Saigetsu performing out of their minds, but the whole team is looking fantastic right now for FPX. It seems, Sue and the desk, that there needs to be an absolute miracle here from the side of Fnatic. The question is, do you believe?
That is a great question, Tom. Do you know what I do believe in, though? It's the Xiao show. Every time we want him to turn up, he does. And what a joy for him to watch them pull off rounds like the way that he has.
Yeah, I mean, Xiao has been such a consistent factor, I think, as well. Him playing the Fade in this composition on Fracture, super integral for them, holding space in halls, using his Prowlers. But he's also just been clutch. And this is the main, I think, takeaway as well for Fnatic, at least for me over the course of the series, has been the rounds that they've got have been off the back of those individual heroics, those big moments from individuals. But what do you do when FPX have a better game plan than you, and they're also having those moments as well as individuals? Because Xiao has had many over the course of that half that has set his team up for success over and over and over again.
I gotta give a shout out to Mike, who termed it's Xiao time, baby. And I love that saying. It brings in my head round after round when he gets these multi-kills. And a lot of them as well. I mean, think about that Thrifty that they just pulled, right? The weaponry they had, obviously inferior, hence Thrifty. But I looked out throughout the entirety of the series there. FPX has been in about 15 eco moments. They've won 10 of those eco moments. And then 17 for Fnatic. They've only won 4. This is what we're talking about, these types of rounds.
Yeah, I love the defensive setup as well for FPX. They had a completely different defensive protocol for their pistol round on Fracture. That's how prepared they were coming into this. And they were playing full retake on B, and it just made, honestly, mincemeat of the entire hold of Fnatic. They couldn't get a hold on this. And it felt like that is the same case over the course of this entire half, and sometimes at moments of this series as well. Fnatic, they're honestly, they're facing elimination. They need to start playing like it in this series.
That pistol round, the reason we brought it up is that it was clear from round 1 that the protocols and the counter planning from the side of FPX was very clear. They knew from round 1 what they were going to do and what Fnatic was going to do, most importantly, and they had an answer for it. The fact that they were all standing back, I went, oh no, they clearly have a plan for this. They know exactly what it is they're doing.
Yeah.
And from that round on, I could just see it going the way of FPX, and that half was commanding.
Well, FPX, they're just 4 rounds away from securing their spot in the lower bracket finals. Mitch and Tom, let's see if Fnatic can get back into this one.
Well, not that long ago, it looked like FPX were backed into a corner. They were up against the ropes, and now it seems like we're close to them dealing that knockout blow. Fnatic just on 3 rounds. This half is going to be tough, and we have seen FPX have successful pistol round after successful pistol round. That cannot be allowed to go down here.
Well, that's the thing. They've had 4-0 starts in most halves. They only need 4 rounds. So if that happens again, Fnatic are already out of the tournament on that plane back home. So there has to be a response here from Fnatic. They need to dive into the Boaster book of craziness, and Mini is just not allowed to talk for this moment, has to ignore all the things he's seeing, because they do need a miracle here. Set up already, early A-side aggression into the south side, and while Durka is left to man the other side of the map, an important early duel, but he's won it.
That he has. A much-needed one for Fnatic. They'll still hold on strong with another duel. But eventually Durka falls, and, well, someone else is going to have to fill up those boots. FPX making their way to the site for a plant now, and it looks undeniable.
So fast. That's the thing, though. They got here in impeccable time. No real control going to be able to be taken. They can just hold on to the tower, swing from Xiao, already spotting out one. I don't know if they'll expect the second player to be deep within the corner, almost trying to bait Xiao into this battle with Althea watching for anybody on the cross.
Yeah, the rest of the team's actually coming back in from Arcade, but they've been caught. Alpha in the corner. He had been unchecked for so long, and he got away with that double. A good attempt from Xiao, but not enough. That pistol for Fnatic, it breathes life back into this roster. And the comeback, well, it might be on.
Yeah, a long, long road to take, but that was a way to do it. And the thing I like about this from Fnatic, their pistol was a confident one. Like, if they had shied away and just managed to sneak their way through the round, I would have definitely been worried. But you had Durka aggressively fighting exactly as you want on that defensive side. And then you also have the fact that they were very fast coming in on those flanks.
A Mystic getting loud.
Yeah, they need it. They need someone to pick them up here. And getting that pistol might just be that fire.
Fnatic certainly have the crowd behind them here, but FPX miles in the lead. Looking to take double digits with pistols, likely to be Fnatic's round, and Alpha's making sure of it. A solid opening with Angel down, they lose their smokes. Still have Sagetsu, but they don't have Artis or Xiao. Big response from Boaster.
A clean start to this round. Still a couple of sheriffs in play. This man on your screen has been terrifying. He's so good with the pistol. But only one player dropped. He's trying to bait in Durka. I feel like there has to be an element of fear to facing off against this man, and eventually he'll run out of bullets. Fnatic, they've invested a bit extra into this one, Mitch, though. Similarly to what we've seen from FPX, this is a lot of rifles.
That it is, yeah. Look, they might be bulldogs, but we even saw how deadly that weapon can be in just the previous half on the same kind of round. 4 behind. Fnatic had this incredible ability to take a terrible first half, and then if you just, I don't know, go grab a drink, you know, you're gone for 5 minutes. When you come back, it's again a close game. Looks like they've been neck and neck the whole time. And that hasn't quite happened here, of course, with FPX on rifles. If they can claim this, they're right back in the swing of things. Great utility to start.
Ooh. Angel gonna be forced back. This control taken already. Durka, he's found two! I don't know how he gets away with that! Both Saigetsu and Angel gone. Enzo will be forced back, and in fact, there's gonna be a re-aggression. Artis has found Durka. He's shut down once again, but has the damage been done?
Oh, he's still going. There's 2 players just on the other side. He's got the first. Alpha trying to take him with a blast back, but Artis stands strong. 3 kills in this round already, looking to drag FPX up to double digits, and they've caught Enzo. He won't be able to hide on the site. He's been seen, and Artis takes him down through the wall. 3 HP left on this man, and he's close to the ace.
What can Boaster do? Absolutely nothing. Zipan shuts out the round, but ultimately it's Artis to do almost everything. Durka kicked them off, but it wasn't quite enough. 10 rounds, double the rounds of Fnatic. But again, there's still going to be a reinvestment here. And more importantly, Durka did earn enough for the Tour de Force.
Yeah, Durka's certainly going to be the one catching our attention in this round. But right there, although he started out well, it's Artis coming in with this 3rd kill. Blast packs coming his way and everything. And it just didn't stop him.
1 enemy remaining.
He was 1 HP, but, well, he was still able to grab himself another kill. 10-5. As we said, Fnatic need this round, and it's the tour de force of Durka looking to catch an opening. He's heard the shrouded step. He knows that Angel could be close, but he still wants to go out and clear it. Wants to hold this tighter angle and catch them on the way back through. But no opportunities are being offered up just yet. Now they finally are, and he's far enough forward.
It was bait. That's the thing. Artis has already taken so much control. He's aware of it, but doesn't connect. There was an opportunity, and actually, this has still come back into a 3v3 scenario. In towards the arcade, they are battling. The flank also being held, so no wraparound to be had, and more likely, a B-site after plant.
And a major problem. If you see Sugetsu land a kill, Viper's Pit is online. That's going to be tough for Fnatic to get back in through. And he won't be planting, because he's right down south side, and that spikes up in heaven. With 50 seconds left, I mean, Fnatic, they've got time. Wait, what's happening up there on top? We've got a push coming through. Alfier's walking right past them, trying to get some early space. But what this does, Tom, it locks those players in.
Yeah.
They know they're arcade now.
Yeah, there's no way back. And that's hugely beneficial. Now, they waited to make sure all the toxins were available to try and get in on that cross. You can also see it being watched by Xiao on the other side, trying to delay anybody from coming back through on that flank. But the fact is, that plant has gone down, no trouble.
Yeah, and now with Heaven control, it's just perfect to be able to lock that down. Even having a player to cover the cross in the form of Sugetsu and the man that he is. This duel is going to have to be won immediately by Fnatic. In fact, they've crossed over. They didn't manage to slip by undetected. Now Zipan under trouble! But that threat is not enough. Alpha, you're not landing it in the defuse inside the orb. Enzo bringing it all the way, you're trying to. But he won't get it done here, and FPX find an 11th. One step closer to victory and to ending Fnatic's tournament life.
Yeah, they came in as hopefuls. A squad almost expected to be facing off against NA in that grand final. Well, it's safe to say FPX has upset any chances of that happening. But the fact is, FPX, a team that has struggled versus Fnatic, losing the last 4 times in a row that they've played. 5th time, maybe the charm. The investment from Fnatic, it's not a pretty one. In fact, it's all they've got. Every single credit put into this round, Mitch, and they need a dub.
Really against the ropes now. Fnatic, they've got to avoid this early pick by Artis. Very similar to what we saw out of Durka in just the previous half. This aggression up through the ramp as he looks to take somebody peeking out a little wide, trying to grab some information, but Fnatic's info play is on the A side. They pushed up on Dish, they've got a little bit of peeking in towards A main and not heard anything. Eventually the rotations come through to beat. More targets for Artist to potentially land on. And that read is almost perfect. FPX stall it out, they wait, and now they're moving towards the A site with a much easier take potentially on their hands. In fact, Tom, the only man on the site is Enzo. He's got a sheriff.
Yeah, he does not have the weaponry for this. All he can hope to do is delay once that contact is made. Now there is a stun available. I don't know if he's actually spotted the information. That might be something, and that time will be bought already. In fact, they're actually going to pop that showstopper, just trying to slow them down completely, and Alpha has made no attempt to actually fire it off, just going to put it through the door instead. But now there is going to be an extra person within this site, ready and waiting, and only 20 seconds left.
They still have Artis over on B looking to catch a pick. And they're locked out of this site. The snake bite down. The wall should be coming up momentarily. Zipman goes in, 1 HP. He's down below, surviving for now. Enzo's not hitting the shots. The trouble with the Sheriff in this moment, but he will eventually. That's a wallbang headshot, but he can't land a kill. They've got the Planted Angels in for 2. FPX are holding strong. They've got the advantage now with the Viper's Pit down. How can Fnatic even get in there? Poster maybe can be the savior with that judge. Maybe.
Sagetsu up above could be a nasty surprise though. Jumping into the pit, no one to be found, and Artist has already dropped one more. In fact, they're going to drop the pit completely, almost hoping he can bait them in, but FPX, it may have got a little dicey, it may have got a little shaky, but they are so good at playing from these after-plant positions. Fnatic needs 7 rounds in a row, or FPX will finally beat their kryptonite.
Oh, is it 4 series in a row FPX have lost, going back the last year or so, year and a bit? They have never been able to take Fnatic down. A team that started out with Boaster saying he just wanted to be like Angel. Well, he became the Model 2.0, but now Angel's back for revenge. And just 1 in 7 needed to close this out. Hell, send Sagetsu out alone every round. You'll probably get one that he picks up. A huge task for Fnatic, and look at the weapons that they're going to try to make this final stand with.
They're just walking into B. They bypassed the smoke, and already the showstopper up above. Oh, he's going to be able to dodge it at least. Lots of damage done. You can already see the counter utility being expended to try and force Fnatic back, but the fact is they are sat in a retake setup.
Yeah, they knew that they weren't going to be able to hold on to control of the site. The nade through could be huge. This has caused so many problems for Fnatic in the past, but that nade goes a little bit too far. FPX survive. In the corner, they've got Arcade, they've got main. This is complete control for FPX. Fnatic getting back in will have to be so quick. They have 1 smoke left, some flashes, but now that smoke's gone. Boaster's gone, and the numbers of Fnatic, they're being thinned out. FPX have done it. They finally bested their EMEA opponents. And they're going on in this tournament, eliminating Fnatic.
The fact is, Fnatic have had their number almost every single time, but the time it matters most is when FPX rise. They have been the team of Hopium, Copium, and so many failures in the past. The last one, not even through their own fault. In this tournament, they take on all trials and tribulations. They have players missing at the beginning. They have to almost rely on the likes of Xiao and Artist to drag them through those early stages. Then they get the full squad. Saigetsu sits top of the board on almost every single map. An utter superstar brought here to this stage. And now they're the only EMEA team left.
The man who very nearly wasn't here, and oh, the one sad thing, we don't get those sick trousers this time around. They're rocking the shorts, but you know what? They should be. Because even in this hot stadium, they looked calm, cool, and collected the whole time. And it was just unbelievable seeing Sagetsu reach these heights. I mean, we have talked about him. We've sold some promises, but this level of consistency, not on this map, not on this series, but in this tournament, is just unrealistic to expect out of anybody.
Well, that's the thing. I wouldn't want to be any team looking to face off against them now. That's the terrifying truth about FPX is they have hit their peak in this tournament. We have seen every member of this squad have moments that I think any player in the world would be happy to have under their belt. And unfortunately for Fnatic, some of those stars didn't come alive in this final map. Now, don't get me wrong, they have been an incredible team throughout this tournament. A top 4 finish is a pretty damn good state for them to be in, but FPX have bested them exactly when they needed to, and now they're going for the throne.
Well, they've certainly waited a long time to take this victory over Fnatic, and getting to do it on stage in front of the crowd, I'm sure makes it that little bit more sweet. And that's right, raise him up.
And it's nice of them to carry him in the end. Yeah, after he's done that throughout some of the matches today. He's been world class, and honestly, I know in a little bit we're probably going to be talking about some of the players of the match. If he's not in there, I quit. I'm just saying that now, I quit.
Well, it looks like they've captured the hearts of the crowd. We heard it. That first map, every time FPX won around, there was a little whisper of cheer.
Yeah, it was a bit eerie in here, I'll be honest.
But now, well, they've got the crowd chanting their names, and you can see how much it means even on their faces. This is FPX going on to that lower final. They're going to compete to push it all the way and carry EMEA's flag to the finals.
Well, that's the thing. Like, all the way through, from the very beginning, all the way to basically today, we were saying Fnatic are the team that carry the mantle of EMEA. Well, all of those EMEA fans will probably have just jumped ship and are going to try and support this FPX team all the way through. A manic match. Starting off on Split, they could have closed it in 2 if we're being brutally honest. A slip up and then a fight all the way back through in the last 2 maps. Absolutely fantastic. You know what, Mitch? Take us through the players of the match, because I think there's only one man we really need to read out.
Listen, if you're coming in voting for Angel, I can get it. He's the IGL, he's putting it together, he's scouting youth, and a fantastic guy. If you're voting for Xiao, same thing. The Xiao show last map, pretty good. Clutched out an insane amount of rounds. But if you don't vote for Sugetsu, you did not watch this game.
No.
You did not watch this tournament. Sugetsu is your MVP. He should be. Go ahead and vote and make it happen.
Some will say he turned up a little late, you know, but I think he's turned up.
Not his fault.
Right on time. Either way, that is it from us today. We are going to be heading things off to the analyst desk, who'll be able to break this one down for you.
I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it, quitting was never an option.